Hello Internet, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 119. My name is Patrick, I'm joined by Saif, say hi.
Yellow.
And Steve, say hi.
Say hi.
Okay, I was waiting for it. Normally it's something quirky. Thought your mic had cut out, was about to celebrate for joy for a moment there, but...
The long gap was his mind just ticking, trying to think of a bad bit.
Yeah, true, actually. Well... Lot of stuff this week.
All right, good chat, fellas. Thanks for tuning in.
Starting off on the saddest of beat, James Earl Jones died today. Do you guys know?
Yeah, I heard about that earlier today.
Yeah, grim.
Oh,
very grim.
Very, very grim.
He was like 93 though. He had a good
he had a good run. But it's like, there's going to be like months of mourning when David Attenborough finally dies at the ripe old age of like 700. So,
how old is David Attenborough? I'm gonna look that up.
Exactly.
Can we play this as a game?
No, this is Steamcharts.
That's kind of grim, actually. I'd rather not.
Oh, he's old.
Highest concurrent age of of David Attenborough. Sad news, but I was going to say also happy news, but then I thought about Concord, and that's also sad news. Actually, we can salvage this. We can salvage this. Happy news, Space Marine is out. I will play it soon. It's on its way to my house. I got the physical version. So
that's why it's still on your wish list.
Yeah, exactly. Holding
Holy
for applause.
Shit, you got the physical version.
Holding for applause.
Is it like a collector's edition or something?
It is not. It is just a physical edition of the game.
Why?
No applause? Okay, that's fine. But I think this is what
I
you
thought
want
you
to
said
do.
hold for applause. I'm going to clap. Yay, Pat! Yay!
Thank you. It's all I wanted.
Yay, Pat! Yay!
Yes. And is that what
Yay,
Steam? Oh my god!
If you just keep going, I can cut him out. I usually do.
Boo this man. We need the unedited recordings. Actually, you know what? I think we should edit some of it.
Probably wise. Is Space Marine going to be the subject of Steamcharts this week, Seth?
It is. You actually hit two of them because it's going to be both Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, and going against Concord. Two live service games that just came out recently. We need to compare how they're doing,
Oh, hang on, what? The Space Marine isn't live service.
Hang on.
It is.
Yeah,
it had like a full roadmap and everything. They're adding content. It's technically a live service game.
All right, we're gonna debate the semantics of that later. I disagree.
I wouldn't call it.
We'll see how
I
we
wouldn't
go.
call it
Though.
a live service game.
Fighting games are considered live service games, and all they do is add new characters every year.
But like, who considers them live service games? Like
the developers,
you, Seth, or do they? Well, they're wrong.
You heard it here first, folks. Anyway, Steamcharts.
Okay, so this is going to be a funny one. I want you guys to guess it.
0.
It's definitely higher, but I want you to say the all-time peak for Concord and the players right now for Space Marine 2.
Oh shit! Okay, I know the meme for Concord, so I'm going to say 675.
675. And what
all-time
about
high?
All-time high on Concord. And current players right now, Space Marine 2. That's tough because the big boy collector's editions had a bit of early access going too. So I'm gonna guess it seems to be reasonably hyped because everyone's waiting for it off the back of Space Marine 1. I'm gonna guess right now. Actually, you know what? We're gonna 10x it. 6,675.
6675.
Ah, Jesus.
Is that your final answer?
6750 actually. Fuck it.
6750.
Yeah, just 10x both. So, yeah, Concord 675, Space Marine 2 6750.
And,
final answer.
Stephen, would you like to throw your numbers in?
I guess so. Do I have a choice?
Go one number lower, coward.
No, I've got a funny thing. So for Concord, this one isn't funny, but I'll say it anyway. So let's go with 869. Very nice. And for Warhammer, I reckon there's 40k people playing right now.
Holy shit, that would be such a good meme, actually.
Okay, I need a tiebreaker round because you both have 1 point. So I'm going to throw in an additional. Give me the all-time peak for Space Marine 2.
Who was right?
I'll give you the answers once you give me the all-time peak for Space Marine 2.
I'll give you Persona 3 the answer.
Hold up. I mean, shit.
Because you
So
both
if you
have
can't-
1 point, so I need a tiebreaker round.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm saying if I'm right on Space Marine 2, then I guess something high like 10,000. If Steve's right on Space Marine 2,
I'll give the answers then. Okay. So
then he has to guess something like
We bullied
50,000.
him.
Patrick wins for Concord because he gets
Always
675, and the all-time peak was 697.
Holy
should've gone
shit.
over.
What does that mean for Space
I
Marine
was
2?
so close.
And
No way.
and Space Marine 2, the players right now is 95,967,
Oh my god.
which is over double
Yeah, it's a popular
Steven's
game,
guess.
I don't know why you thought like no one was playing it. It's a very popular game.
It wasn't no one was playing it. I was thinking like chance of it early access, plus it's available on all platforms. Like just Steam would only be a proportion of all the people playing. And in my head, it's a way bigger console game because of how Space Marine 1 played.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe.
Yeah, dumb hoop jumping. Super happy for Space Marine 2. Holy shit, can't wait to be one of the 80 whatever thousand when I get it at the end of this week.
95,000.
95. Wow. Great year, honestly. 95. Anyway, yeah, that's amazing. Steve, shake my hand. GG's.
No, all-time peak.
Yep.
All-time peak.
No, let's just leave it a draw. We both win. We're both winners here.
96. No, all-time peak. Shit. 140.
140k.
400k.
And
No, 40k.
you're going 40k again?
No, 400k.
400k.
Sorry.
Baller move. 40k again. Best 2 out of 3.
So, Patrick, how do you like your chicken dinner because you're the winner?
Was I winner going over, or just because Steven said something stupid?
Because Steven said something stupid.
Yeah, okay. What was it actually?
I didn't think it was stupid at all.
225,690. So,
That's what I
Okay.
said.
Where,
I said
where does-
200k.
Where does that put it on the list?
what do you...
That
like the Steam
like,
all-time...
Yeah, like is that an all-timer ranking? That seems very high.
I don't think
It's
it's
no
an
Power World.
all-timer, but it's probably up there.
Ah, okay. No, never mind. My numbers are off. I'm confusing current player all-timers with opening rounds. Because in my head it's like
It's unfortunately
300.
lower than Starfield.
boo.
That's really fucking basic. My fucking
Finally a real
ass.
fucking space game too.
Once again, our Starfield chads, we're eating good.
Space Marine
Anyway.
2 is coming in at 58th place, and that's under For Honor and Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, no, my scaling's just out. That's totally fine. Yep, super happy. Can't wait to be one of the Legion. Soon enough. Yeah, the reason why I didn't think it was live
I'm looking
service
at the
is
top
because
100 sellers.
the content that I've seen of it is not biased towards multiplayer. I say that only seeing like
Isn't
a
it a
limited sliver
PvE
of.
game? Like co-op against AI?
Well, there's campaign and there's side missions around the campaign, and both of those are PvE. But that's like all the content that there is. There's no, you know what?
It's the same. It's in the same vein of live service as Helldivers 2 is.
I
move
maybe
on.
in my head, those are different systems, but I'll happily eat my words when I play the shit out of it this weekend. There we go. We'll leave it. We'll move on. Cool. So other than that's awesome. I just wiped that out. Cool. So other than getting some Steamcharts numbers together, what else you been up to this week, Seth?
After the last podcast recording, I did go and finish Kunitsu-Gami. I have a very small update on that one, so that won't take too long. But then last week, Astrobot came out, and I finished that in like... I played it the night it came out for 2 hours, and then the next day I played it for 12 hours straight.
Must have been that bad. You wanted to get it over and done with, like eating your vegetables before
You
you
must
get
have
to,
really
like,
loved
eat
Redfall with
dessert, I
how
guess.
slowly you took that game.
I was busy, had other stuff going on. You
All right,
made
we
that
need a
fucking same
tiebreaker
joke in the
round.
chat.
Yeah, you've been doing this same joke the entire time too. Don't call me out. I'll call you out back.
Nah, I called you out first. Therefore, I win.
Just don't call them late for dinner or whatever the stupid bloody follow-up he always does. That phrase.
Duh.
Okay,
I say
that's
that all
cool.
the time, actually.
Can't wait to get into that. And Steve, what have you been up to?
I got a new phone. I got the Samsung S23. That's all I
New
have to say
phone,
about
he
that.
says.
It's been so long since we had a tech update. Did you go and get
It's
Krispy
brand new,
Kreme
it's
and a
out of the box.
milkshake as well after you got your phone?
Oh, he better have. Imagine
so
bringing
to
up
give
he
you-
got a new phone and not saying that he went to Krispy Kreme for a delicious shake combo.
No, it was a bit of a drama. So, but I ordered the phone
here we go.
online from like pick up from yeah, no, it's not a real thing. This is the definition of a first world problem. So I ordered it to pick up, and I'm like, yeah, cool. Then there was like an online Pokemon tournament happening, so I did that, and like it went for like 5 rounds. It was gone for a bit long, and it got to like the last round, and I nearly won, but I didn't make it. But then I get the message saying, oh yeah, come pick it up. But by this time it was like 3:30, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get going. So then I walked down and picked it up, but I walked the wrong way for like 20 minutes. So it was like a 40-minute walk instead of like a 20-minute walk. But I got my 10,000 steps in for the day. That was pretty good. Goated, some might say. But then it started raining on me, so that wasn't good. I didn't get a Krispy Kreme or a chocolate milkshake because there's nothing on the way. I'm sorry, my friends.
Wow.
Who asked for the life story?
You.
No, I just asked if you got Krispy Kreme. I didn't ask about other details.
No idea where to go from there.
Yeah, I told you I didn't get it, but I just had to give you the journey there. But yeah, no, so yeah, it's a phone. But anyway, in terms of video game things, I'm really going to talk about in detail. Superfan Dan recommended Lost in Random.
Holy shit, and that's what that story was?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. All right, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Don't appreciate being made fun of. He recommended Lost in Random a while back, and it was like 80% off like a year and a half ago. So I bought it, and naturally I played it, and it's a that's a video game.
Cool.
When he says that's a video game, I get very worried about what's going to happen. But moving on from that, what have you been up to, Patrick?
So
What do you mean? What's there to be worried about? It is a video game.
I have obviously bought Space Marine, waiting for that to come to my door. But I only had it waiting to come to my door because I went to a place where I'd normally buy physical copies. Because I, once again, perhaps wrongfully, didn't think that Space Marine would be much of a live service game that I'd keep coming back to, so I thought, I'll get it on physical disc because, man, any game that you buy just eats the amount of disc storage you have on a PS5, I tell you what. So, go to my usual spot to get physical games. Oh no, they're out of stock. This is obviously excellent news in light of how many people are playing it, but I go to a specific store because Astrobot was $10 off there. And so I've also been playing Astrobot.
Oh, hell yeah. We got another Astrobot enjoyer.
We do. Can't wait to talk about it. That's what I've been up to. That and a bunch of other boring non-gaming stuff. So why don't we jump into Kunitsu-Gami update?
I want to know about the non-gaming stuff.
Well, it all started when I was a boy. No, that would be a different sort of Lost in Random. Why don't we jump into Kunitsu-Gami update?
Yeah, okay. So last time I left off, I thought I was about 1/3 of the way through Kunitsu-Gami, or like a little bit more than that. I think it was probably more around the halfway point. And after that halfway point, the game does open up a lot more. It got a lot more interesting. The map designs got a lot more interesting and a lot harder as well. Mechanics started opening up way more, and the new classes I was unlocking were a lot more fun to engage with. So yeah, the game does get a lot better after the halfway point. It started creeping up from that where I said last time, it's just scratching the surface of like a game that I'd enjoy into being something like, yeah, no, I thought this was really good. Like I enjoyed it quite a fair bit. Only downside right now is that I finished the game, but finishing the game the first time gives you the bad ending, or rather the incomplete ending. And I need to do a whole second playthrough on New Game Plus to get the true ending, which I'm just putting on the back burner for now. I think one playthrough for now is enough, and I'll come back to New Game Plus like in a couple of months.
That's cool. And just to hit Steve, because in hindsight it is actually semi-gaming related, I've been watching the International, the big Dota 2 tournament. That's ramping up, so they're doing the playoffs to get into the tournament, and man, the spiders in my skin that want me to just return to Monk and go back to just mainlining that game. The pull is strong, but my will is stronger, but not by much.
Is this the one that's being held in? Is it like Saudi Arabia this year? Is this one, or is there something, or is that just the general esports?
I thought that was like the Ultimate Gamer Tournament, something. No, this one.
Maybe I don't know.
I think they do like esports World Championship or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And they cover a lot of games.
This one, the playoffs that they're doing at the moment are in Copenhagen, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if that's where they're doing the main tournament, because normally, I say normally, like this is weird flex. This is one of the first years since COVID that I've been in the country to be able to watch this tournament, because for some reason, trips away have always coincided with around this time the past couple of years. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Often, they have it in Seattle. I don't know if they're doing that this year. I probably should know, given how much I've been watching of this tournament, but they might be just doing it in Copenhagen after the playoffs. I don't know. Either way, been thoroughly enjoying watching way too much Dota 2 content. Anyway, speaking of Lost in Random, tell us about Lost in Random.
Yeah, okay. So Lost in Random is a video game. That's all I got to say about that. No.
Thank you for that, Steve. Very random, very lost.
I can't remember if it's developed or who the developer is, but it's published by EA.
Bad stuff.
I get the feeling like EA, well, deservedly got that bad rap, and then like nothing really happens with them anymore. Maybe because they're just too busy.
They barely release
the FIFA
games
bags
anymore.
And the Madden bags.
They're too busy getting money from FIFA Ultimate packs.
Well, and don't forget that the new FIFA game that came out this year isn't owned by them anymore. So I don't think they still do Madden.
I think they just released an EA college football game.
Oh, yep, that's what they're doing. Yep, that's going to fucking make them gajillionaires. College football is so fucking big in the States. And Madden's been on the down spiral for a bit. But anyway, yeah, so this is
outside of their sports games, it's
Arts.
like they did Dead Space remake, and then they also released the Jedi game last year, but that was broken at launch.
That's true.
They release like one big game a year, and then their sports stuff.
And now we have a different broken
Jedi
Jedi
Dragon
game
Age
at launch.
coming out. Yeah. Yeah, they've got Dragon Age is published by EA as well, for better or worse. More likely for worse. If you look at the graph of how good Dragon Age is and when EA bought them, and look, it's a fucking vertical cliff dive. But anyway, enough about me hating EA. So Lost in Random, it came out in 2021, and this game, true to its name, is very, very fucking weird and very, very random in a kind of eccentric, kind of good way. The long and short of it is that you play this girl called Even, who is off on an adventure to save her sister Odd, who is
Even Steven?
Nope. No, like even like the numbers on a dice. Actually, I haven't explained that reference, so you wouldn't get it. Whoops, jumping the gun. But yes, Even Steven, yes, it's actually story is me. But no, she goes out she sets on an adventure to save her sister Odd, who has been taken by like the evil queen, the queen of random, because random's kind of like the area that everybody lives in, because everybody on their 12th birthday rolls a 6-sided dice, and depending on which number you get, that kind of determines where you go. Like if you get 1, you go to like one place. If you go to 2, you go to 2 town. If you're 3, you go to the 3 kingdom, like et cetera, et cetera. And she rolls a 6, and a 6 is like you go to the queen's palace type of thing, and essentially it's all right, I've got to save my sister from this privileged life type of stuff from the noble society. And it's a very strange game. For lack of a better word, it looks, there is no better word, it looks very much like a Tim Burton animated movie. You know, like Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, that weird claymation
Tim Burton-esque.
thing. Help me out here, fellas. Tim Burton-esque. Yeah, Burtonese. It's got that fucking weird thing, and they've got like beady eyes and like long spider-like legs and the fucking long arms. And I've never really liked that kind of thing. Maybe this is some childhood trauma of when I watched like Coraline, and it gave me nightmares for a bit. But I just like Dungeons of Hinterberg 2 weeks ago, I do not fuck with this art style. This art style is very different, and I still don't fuck with it. And there's a lot of like, the color palette isn't really there. It's a lot of dark green, a lot of olive, a lot of like grays and browns. And there is one level later on where it does get very bright. And that's kind of like, oh, okay, like this doesn't look too bad. But the rest of the game, whether it's a stylistic choice or just poor planning, color palette is very muddy. And that's kind of really the first thing you see as well. And it kind of like, it doesn't set you up to kind of a negative way of thinking about it, but it definitely doesn't get any better. And it kind of just gets very samey towards the end of it. So it's essentially a little bit of a platformer, but most of it is like in combat. And in combat it's one of those, it obviously came out at the time when those deck builders was becoming a big thing. Remember deck builders? They used to be every second game, and now they no longer exist. But essentially you build a deck of 15 cards, and each of these cards costs a certain amount of points. And depending on what the card does, like you might like summon a bomb to the field or conjure up a sword or get a bow and arrow type of thing. And the amount of points you get, like to use those cards is based off on like the roll of the dice. And because you've got this dice on your back called dicey. So let's say, for example, you roll a 2, you can spend 2 points on using like 2 cards out of your hand of 5. Oh, sorry, you spend 2 points in your hand of 5. The cards vary between like costing 0 to costing like, I think the highest one that I found is like 3. So you do get a kind of bit of like the RNG bullshit of like, oh, cool, like I rolled a 1 on the dice. I've got a card full of 3s. I guess we're kind of skipping this, not really turn, but I'm going to have to collect a bit more of the power-ups in the level to recharge my dice rolling meter, for lack of a better word. And on paper, when you first start playing it for the first couple of hours, it's a fantastic system. It's really nice and fresh. The combat's like essentially basic. Like you've got attack, you've got essentially dodge, and that's kind of it. But the cards do have a lot of variety. But after about, like I think I put 12, 13 hours into this game, like after about hour 4 or 5, there's no variety anymore. You've got all the cards. You'd know which cards are good, which cards are bad, which cards do damage, which cards are kind of like, oh yeah, cool, this card poisons, that's really cool, but poison does like 1 point of damage like per second, whereas the sword does like 10. So there's like real no point to use the poison type of thing. It does, like the writing in the game is very good, and I do appreciate that. Just the voice acting is dog shit. Like there's a mixture between, yeah, and it's like, I was like playing it, and my housemate walks in, and he's like, oh yeah, like this is a video game. I'm like, yep, sure is. And like we're watching it, and it's just, there was something that like, it was like niggling at the back of my mind. I didn't know what it was. And he's like, the voice acting for this game is garbage. All these characters sound the same. And I'm like, that's what it is. Because you go to a new town, you talk to whoever the leader of that town is, and they sound roughly the same as the leader of the last town. And I didn't really realize it until he pointed it out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the problem. Which is a shame, because for main characters anyway, there is a lot of, even though I don't agree with like the art style, there is a lot of like design choices that kind of, you can see there's been a lot of care put into it, and a lot of design choices that are like really good. But then like you go to like side characters just walking through the town, and you've got 3 models. Some of them are voiced for no reason. Some of them are not voiced for no reason. And then some of them talk this weird gibberish. Wait, and then some of them talk this weird gibberish language that is actually not explained. Like it's kind of like either pick one, either have the kind of side characters, for lack of a better word, talk, or don't have them talk, or have them all speak the gibberish. Like why have you, where's the consistency? And I think that's just kind of my problem with the game. Like it definitely feels like some parts are consistent where other parts aren't. And like I did have a good time playing this game. I did have a good time, but there are so many, like overall there's like just how this game is like planned out and played and designed. There's just a lot of things that kind of, it just doesn't feel good at points. Like the levels go on for too long. The combat encounters, especially in the late game, are just kind of just, the enemies are just not bullet sponges because you don't have any bullets, but they're just like damage sponges. And there's even this one late game enemy that has like a shield, and there is no way to like put the shield down. You've just literally just got to hit into the, like run into the enemy, get hurt because the enemy has a shield on, and then the enemy like kind of falls down, and then you can kind of attack him. I'm like, okay, cool. Surely there's got to be a way to turn it off, and then there really isn't, and that was kind of fucking. It was just like annoying as well. But overall, this is a pretty good game. I say pretty good game, but I know this is one of those games.
You say that, but the entire time it just sounds like this isn't something that you really enjoy.
This is literally the same as last time.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm getting angry in my old age. This game is
fucking gives it the old IGN 10 out of 10 review. Overall, kind of a shit game. 7.
There's a lot of water in this game. 7.8. No, like I can tell it's a good game. It just wasn't a game for me, and it'd be a very tough game to like recommend. And I know that's kind of like, oh, this is good, but don't play it. Like I know, I get that. That's fucking weird.
You need to find a certain type of person that would enjoy this game. Exactly.
There are those people that love like the deck builders and those type of freaks. They probably love this game, and then power to them. And maybe it's because when I play these type of games, I'm kind of like remembering games like Slay the Spire or Hand of Fate or Monster Train, like other deck building games that are just good and they work out. But this is tried to combine real-time combat with a deck builder and it doesn't really work. And plus all the design choices they've chosen, like it just kind of just doesn't do anything for me. And I understand that's a me problem, but don't give me strawberry ice cream and expect me to eat it because I fucking hate strawberry ice cream. Dog shit. Is Lost in Random the strawberry ice cream of video games? Maybe. But 6 out of 10.
Okay.
6? Maybe? I don't know. And actually, no. Actually, I'll push it down to a 5 because towards the end of the game, when there was a bunch of like a lot more of stuff going on the screen with enemies and particle effects and stuff, it got like there's a bit of performance issues and no bueno for me at all. But like there is something there, and it's just disappointing that they kind of fumbled the bag, for lack of a better word. Have they done anything since? Zoink is the studio that was this. Damn it, fuck.
I cannot help you.
Yeah, no, sorry. I remember I just started talking and I went onto Wikipedia. They have not done a game since Lost in Random.
Oh my
so
God. This is the most Lost in Random I've ever seen you.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe this game has changed me. But yeah, I had a good time playing it. I'd never play it again, and I don't think I'd tell anybody else to play it, which is a very weird thing to say. Maybe for like
that's such an interesting recommendation takeaway.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you've been playing that game. How is it? Oh, it's pretty good. Should I play it? Fuck no.
Hang on. A sequel titled Lost in Random, The Eternal Die is being developed at Thunderful Studios and is scheduled for a 2025 release.
Oh, hold on.
The story was good. The story was very, very good. It's just a shame the delivery of the story is dog shit. It's fucking isometric. Holy shit. Oh, they're killing me with this kind of stuff. No, it doesn't look good. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, 5 out of 10.
Okay, well, we went from pretty good to 7.8 to 7 to 6 to now 5. 5 out of 10. All right. Let's end it here before we put the developers on life support when you give it a 4.
Hey, I actually bought this game.
Oh, that's why he didn't like it. He had to pay money for it.
True.
Yeah. No, that's not true at all.
He couldn't chill Game Pass on the podcast with this one.
And we can't show Game Pass on the podcast with Astrobot, but we're going to talk about that now.
I'm assuming you played less of it, Patrick, so do you want to start off?
Okay. I have played, I'm on the boss of the, I'm going to say the square world. I think it's the third world. It's Mecha Chameleon is where I'm up to.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty deep in.
Ooh. I figured I'm closing in on the home stretch. I believe there's 5 worlds.
Yeah, they just straight up show you there's 5 worlds and also a lost world with bonus levels.
Yeah. And so I, using the number of astrobots as a metric, have collected 160-ish so far. And overall, I agree with the reviewers that say it's a very competent platformer. I think I've put my finger on what it is that I think it's missing for me to consider it to be like a goated platformer. I've really enjoyed.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I've done a bit of thinking about this because I've really enjoyed what I've played. I have cannot fault it for what I've played and what I've enjoyed. I think I've found the itch that is slightly missing for me in terms of trying to scratch it. We'll get into that. It's really cool, just kind of memory laning so much of kind of just not Sony IP, but just like PlayStation IP or like PlayStation memory sort of stuff.
Yeah, because they pull in a lot of stuff from third parties as well. Like Capcom and Sega really loves this game.
Yeah, I've gotten deep enough into the game that I'm now rescuing bots that are clearly themed after something. And between looking at the bot and reading the text, I'm lost. I don't know what it's pulling from.
Yeah, I had a lot of those ones. Like there was one that was like it mentioned Gran Turismo, like instead of Turismo it was Tune. And I was like, was Gran Turismo a game? And then I looked it up. It's like, no, there's this game called Moto GP Grand Prix or some shit like that. And it was a kart racer that Polyphony made before Gran Turismo. So they're just making a pun on like, it was a Toon game before Gran Turismo.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's cool. Why don't we put the spoiler warning here now? Because I obviously can't speak to spoilers beyond where I am, but I also want to discuss some of the stuff that I've really liked that probably would spoil it for people that haven't played it yet. So
yeah,
we'll
sure.
drop the spoiler
There's a
warning
lot
here.
of cool stuff in the game that are very. It'd be fun to see them firsthand.
Exactly. Because I knew some of it was coming. It didn't spoil that piece of it for me, but others, I could see that it might. So put the spoiler warning here. Skip forward if you don't want to listen to this. Fair enough.
There
Still
will be
with us?
timestamps in the description.
Still with us? Good. So
Yep.
I think the standout highlight for me so far has been the God of War homage level.
Yeah, the VIP levels are very good. The first one they introduced is an Ape Escape one, and they did so well with it. And like, there's a lot of things in here that really lean towards this. Just let these developers do an Ape Escape game. They clearly want to. There was so much love in that Ape Escape level, and there's so much love for Ape Escape throughout the game. Just let them have it. But yeah, no, the second one was the God of War level, and that God of War Ragnarok level is a lot of fun too.
It's so good, down to the point. I know that we meme that I play most games muted. I have barely
Insane.
played Astrobot muted, which seems like a standard. It seems like a very much like, yeah, you played the game normally. Good job, dumbass.
Hold on, just 1 second, because Stephen, I want to highlight this point of you going ooh over it. Something really good about that God of War level is that they've taken the boy meme. Like
Yes, that's what I wanted to get
okay.
to.
and so they've straight up taken a rip of Kratos saying boy, and then they dropped the beats after that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
They teased that in the launch trailer, so like I knew there were going to be PlayStation IP levels coming up because they ended it by showing, oh hey, here's a Kratos level, you'll throw the axe with Astrobot, and then they ended the trailer with the boy beat drop.
I don't remember the boy beat drop happening. Must have watched the trailer muted. But yeah, I knew there was a God of War VIP level because
Insane.
one of the reviews that I saw mentioned that was a highlight. I didn't know with the other VIP levels that were coming. I
want to give a spoiler for one of the VIP levels if you don't mind, because
sure.
after I beat the third one, I had a flashback memory of how the launch trailer went, and I'm like, oh, Aloy was shown off in that first announcement trailer as a big highlighted character. One of the VIP levels is going to be a Horizon level, and I'm going to be calling it an industry plant the entire time I'm playing it.
I'm assuming that's what's awaiting me after Mecha Chameleon.
I said after the third VIP level, so it'll be after that one. I won't say when it is.
Yeah, okay. Well, fair
Does this
enough.
game have any Concord references?
No.
All throughout. The whole game is basically trying to get you to buy and play Concord.
Every skeleton bot is a Concord reference.
Holy shit, I know quite a few. Yeah, so the music is really good. The art style, I mean, it's classic Astrobot. It just works really well. Mechanically, it's sound. I want to get into what I think the difference is. What I think it's missing for me specifically is there's two things when I think of platformers that I really like. Mario Odyssey is in there because that's just the de facto that everyone puts in really good platformers. And I think a game like Sly Cooper is kind of in there as a platformer for me too.
Oh, Sly is definitely a platformer. It's like it's a platformer that's using stealth elements.
It is, but I think it's worth discussing because the bit that I find to be different is that Mario Odyssey, by and large, is here is a kind of hub world, and you have all these mechanics to explore this hub world, and there are little offshoots that go into little linear levels. I think it would be safe to say, of the levels I've played, most of the Astrobot levels are linear, and every so often you get a hub world with mechanics to play in, be it VIP levels, be it just some other levels in general are very much like here is the focus of the level, but you can kind of go about it in whichever order you want. And I think the bit that's missing for me is that, particularly in the hype of Super Mario Odyssey, you had the choice of which world you want to go to next, and you can do the same thing in Astrobot. You choose what level you want to go to next, that's fine. But when you're actually in the level, you don't have that broad a mechanics range to explore the level differently to anyone else that will. And what I mean by that is me going through one of the levels and Seth going through one of the levels, and I'm guessing 95% of the other people going through one of these levels will play it roughly the same way. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But what was really cool about Odyssey is that I would play through a particular level, and we would, me and someone else would have a similar number of moons at the end of it, but they would be completely different moons, and it would be like, oh, you didn't do like the Cappy super jump to clear this gap, and then go like scurry up this pipe, and then do like a triple jump to get up onto this box, and then etc., etc., etc. Kind of like how we did the Elden Ring discussion of what did you guys choose to do, and it found out that we all picked a different direction. I think a certain amount of that makes for a better platformer, because that way when I get told, hey, there's a God of War Ragnarok level, I know that it's coming and it's something that I can look forward to, but I don't have the ability to kind of choose when I might hit something that is better or worse than anyone else. And it's entirely a personal taste thing, but I think that's point one. And point two, the reason why...
Can I just jump on that one for a second?
Sure. Yeah,
because
Mm-hmm.
that one is definitely a personal taste thing, because even the Mario devs have talked about this when they were doing Odyssey, and this is very much a different type of game than that type of platformer, because
100%.
How they describe it is like they have the hub, like the collectathon games, which is like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Odyssey. And then there's like the more linear style, which is like Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 3D World. And that's more where Astrobot is leaning towards. It's like, it's not big collectathon hub style levels. These are just like straight levels that you just run from point A to point B. And along the way, there are things you can find if you explore the levels a bit more. But it's just like the mechanics of what's in the game. There's not many mechanics in the game, but what's there are very mechanically tight. And it's just asking you, go from point A to point B and have fun, like playing the level that way instead of like doing the other type. So it's essentially going, this is very good at what type of platformer it's doing, but you would have preferred the other style of platformer, which is more in line with like Banjo-Kazooie, Spyro, and Mario Odyssey.
I thought you weren't going to say Mario for a second there. I was like, what the fuck, man?
And the other reason, and again, this kind of builds, which is why I wanted to go point one into point two. The reason why I prefer exploration in the hub world setting is I like... Actually, this one I think I might get some pushback on. I like momentum when I'm going through things. And what breaks momentum for me is when it's particularly on a linear level, which means that you step out of bounds, you die. That's basically how Astrobot defines linearity. Totally fine, totally expected. But I know I'm looking for secrets, which is I know I'm looking for puzzle pieces, I know I'm looking for Astrobots to collect. I am then incentivized to do things that will likely kill me on the assumption that I might find some secret there. In that, there are a few times where it's very easily choreographed, like, hey, there's just this extra platform. If you go like backwards through the level and you'll see it, and it's there and it's obvious, cool, that's fine. But when you're trying to find a secret in, say, Super Mario Odyssey, because that's just the easy game to make a comparison to, when it's designed as a hub world, your punishment for not getting the secret isn't really a punishment. Like you can try something and it's like, okay, that didn't work. Maybe you need to try it from like a different angle. The again, personal preference thing is that when I see a secret that I think I can get, or rather I see a secret that doesn't have an obvious route to it because of the linearity of levels, I feel like I can't move on until I've figured out how to get to this thing, because I can't just come back here nicely later. And I can sense that there might be some pushback on that, because dying and then respawning from the same spot is a lot faster than missing the secret and then having to kind of run all the way back like you might have to in Mario Odyssey. But there have been several levels where I realize, because it tells you the order of Astrobots that you've collected, that I've collected and say missed 2 or 3, that I, in another game, would want to go back and try and, maybe I missed something obvious, but there are a few points where there's such an obvious progression blocker to going back that I have to restart the level, and that's a momentum killer for me.
Yeah, there's a few levels that it's split. I think there's like probably about a 40-60, maybe 50-50 split on levels that are like, you can just go, once you miss something, it's easy to just go back to where you miss it. Like you said, you'll probably miss like 1 or 2 bots, and then you're like, oh, okay, I missed a couple, let me go do a U-turn and go look for them. And then there's a couple that's like, hey, I missed a bot, but when I got this one, I fell through the roof, and now there's no way for me to get back up that roof. And those moments can be a little frustrating. Very frustrating, actually. But when it's one of those levels that's just very easy to U-turn, or even it's one of those situations like, oh, I see that thing over there, but I died and tried to get to it. I think the checkpointing is good enough, and the load times on death are good enough that those aren't too big of a factor.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree on that. It's more just like an annoyance in myself of like, because it's purely, I know it's like a loading screen that is quite quick, but just the zoomer brain, everything else is kind of like fast enough that you feel slower than normal, even though it's a fast loading screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I also don't mind it because you can restart the level at any point in the pause menu, which sometimes I just went, okay, I can't go back, I'm going to retry. And then it's also just like the levels are short enough that sometimes I don't mind it too much. And they were also very smart in that it saves on collectible grabs. So if you missed one thing and then you go back into the level, grab that one thing, you can just leave the level. You don't have to finish it again.
Yeah, I did want to call that out. The other two bits that I want to call out. One, the checkpoint system is very good to the point where it's painful if you want to go back and you accidentally die or intentionally die to try to go back, and the game's like, no, but you made it to here, and just respawns you beyond the point that you want to go back to, and you're like, well, this is purgatory.
It would be nice if they took the system from Playroom, Astro's Playroom, the tech demo that came with the PS5, and it was just like, yeah, no, you can warp to an earlier part of the level if you miss something.
Yeah, that would be fine. The other one that I want to call out, because this was just genius levels of like game design to me. A level which I actually just want to call out as just a really, really well designed level. It's one of the early levels in World 3. It's you start in like a lost tomb type thing, and you go across a swing bridge. The swing bridge collapses, and you just land into this tomb, and the whole thing gets lit up. And it's such a, oh, this is a game.
Yeah,
moment.
They do that a couple of times where it's like, oh, hey, the goal is right in front of you. Oh, whoops, we took the ground out from underneath you. Do a level.
But I really liked how they did this one, because it wasn't just haha, we pulled the wool over your eyes. It was oh, you thought that the whole environment was going to be this kind of like drab Tomb Raider-y going through the jungle type thing. No, it's actually this beautifully bright, vibrant, like buried civilization that you get to run around in. It was just a fantastically done reveal.
Which is funny you say Tomb Raider-y, because that's the level you get Lara Croft in it as well.
But the point that I want to call out from the game design perspective is that that's a level that has a lot of verticality. And I, on the way to the end checkpoint, saw a bot that I hadn't gotten, because this was me coming full 360. A full 360 on all the bits that I just spoke about. Ran through the level. The level is fairly linear. It's designed to be played in one direction. You are climbing up this temple, and the end checkpoint's at the top. I got towards the top and knew that I missed something earlier on, and I can't go back to it because it involved a jump that I could just not. I can't clear. You jump. You get propelled beyond a gap that you cannot jump normally, and you cannot make it back to. I, on the way to the end checkpoint, saw that I was now on the same side of the temple as that thing I missed, and went, I'm going to try to get the bot now while I know where it is, and, be damned if I don't make it to the checkpoint, because I'll just run through the level later if I have to. And so I drop basically from the end of the level back to maybe a third of the way through, just jump all the way back just by falling off of this cliff, get the bot, and then as I then retrieve the bot, I see that there's a bird with a rope that's sitting there waiting, and you grab it and it just takes you back up. And not only that, but I look across and there's a second bird with a rope partway up if I'd fallen to, say, 2/3 rather than 1/3. So clearly it's not just a checkpointing thing. There's also on some levels this mechanic of, we know you've made it this far. Even if you die, we might not reset you there, but if you want to get back to where you should be, here is an easy way to do it. And I thought that was a really, really nice touch.
Yeah, I discovered that in, I think it was Worlds 2, where there's a level where you get a mouse power up where you keep shrinking and then going back to your original size.
I love that level.
It's just like a go around this kind of like lab and then inside a bedroom, and then you go up onto a second level of the lab tower sort of thing. And yeah, I discovered it there. Like, I looked down to just make sure I cleared everything on the first floor, and I saw the bird down there, so I was like, oh, I didn't see that before. I'm going to jump down and see what that is, grab the rope, and then it took me back to where I jumped from. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's going to come really useful. And then when I was looking for the secret exit in that level, I climbed all the way up to the top of the level, jumped back down to the first floor, and then grabbed that rope. And it's like, yeah, I'm taking you all the way back up to the top of the level where the end call is. And it's like, okay, yeah, it just tracks how far in the level you've gone. And it's like reaching certain checkpoints. It's like, okay, I'm going to take you that far. And it's like, that's a really nice thing to do, especially in those levels that are very vertical. And you're like, no, I need to keep jumping up and down to look for things.
Yeah. No, huge props to the developers for that. I also I'm sure this is just to partially hide the loading screen, but riding in on, I don't know what you want to call it, the controller jet. I know they call it the dual something. I've forgotten it. The dual speed runner.
It might be that, yeah.
But riding that in and that being playable while the level loads, while you reach the front of it. Initially, I thought okay, yeah, it's a fun little gimmick or whatever. And then I think it's either partway through World 1 or slightly into World 2. It's like, oh, hey, a puzzle piece just floated by. Oh, you didn't get it in time? Oh, well, that's it, done. And so I don't think the tutorial tells you that you can use L2 and R2 to boost on that piece. I know you hold L2 and R2 to boost at the end of a level, but I, for about 5 minutes, was just trying to speed run neon white perfect the speed to get the puzzle piece and still couldn't get it until I just started mashing buttons and realized there's a boost. But having a little bit of interactivity on that, even just during the loading screen, also a nice touch.
Yeah, I don't think it's a loading screen because, yeah, like you said, there's interactivity going on. It's like, yeah, no, at some points they just make these intro segments where you're riding the dual speeder, an actual, little obstacle course you got to start going through, and I really enjoy those. And then, yeah, when they start introducing the puzzle pieces in those segments, it's like, oh, you're actually the devil.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you weren't paying attention because you thought this was just a loading screen? Tough shit. Have fun missing the collectible that you think is in the level properly, dumbass. Yeah, liked all of those. Yeah, really loved all the touches they made in the God of War ones. Just that, absolutely the standout highlight. The sound, excellent. The aesthetic, perfect. Even just little things that they don't even draw attention to, but being able to take out the is it crows? I forget the type of bird. I don't think crow's right. Might be crow. In God of War.
The ravens.
Ravens, thank you. Yes, Eyes of Odin. Yeah, the ravens. Even having the ravens around, that they don't draw attention to it. If you've never played a God of War game, you just wouldn't think anything of them just around the level. But just knowing that they're there and that you can kill them like you can in the game, it's just a beautiful non-gameplay nod to the people that know the source material well. And I say that because I don't know Ape Escape well. And I'm assuming there are a lot of those sorts of nods, because I enjoyed that level. I did. But I imagine someone that knows Ape Escape better than me would have enjoyed that level a lot more for similar reasons, of the little nods to the underlying source material.
Yeah, so I think that, you're not onto the third the VIP level yet, so I can't really say, but a problem I run into with a couple of the VIP levels is that...
Yeah, just making sure. You say the third. I have played 3 VIP levels.
Oh, so you have done the Uncharted level.
Yes, and that's the one that I like the least.
Okay. I actually really like the Uncharted level. I just like going in and running and gunning, but the main issue I have with most of them is so you'll notice it by now with since you've done the Uncharted and God of War ones, is that the God of War one and the Uncharted one is just basic Astro levels, but they've just tied the triggers to doing things from those games, like throwing the axe or shooting a gun.
Yeah.
But there are 2 that are so the Ape Escape one and another one are much more unique in that they're just straight up trying to copy those games mechanically. And I think going in that direction is really, really cool and really interesting. So overall, the VIP level, those VIP levels are still super fun, even though they're just you're playing Astro but with a gimmick. But they're fun. They're a lot of fun. They're really cute. I do like that each of them are we're going to design the levels around making these feel like they're mimicking those games a little bit. The God of War level, you've got a lot of puzzles that involve throwing the axe to keep platforms in place because you're freezing them.
Yes.
And then in the Uncharted one, it's oh, hey, you're shooting a lot of things, and then suddenly you shoot at something that explodes and the car comes flying into a river, and now you're using that car to platform across the river like you would in an Uncharted set piece. And it's things like those that add little touches of detail that I really appreciate.
See, I agree with all of that. The bit that the reason why I thought the Uncharted level fell short is I got nods to the games, but I didn't feel like it was as integrated. Other than like, okay, first of all, just off rip, Nathan Drake just handing Astrobot a gun, big mistake. I don't think I stopped firing that gun the entire time I was playing that level.
Astro is gun crazy in the right player's hands, because in Astro's Playroom they give him a chain gun.
I've platinumed that game. I feel like I should remember this.
It's in the space level. They just straight up go, "Hey, here's a minigun. Go ham on these glass panels."
But I know what you mean in terms of the Uncharted set piece, like the Jeep comes crashing down. I thought that was cool, 100%. But maybe it just felt.
Other bits that they do is like, oh hey, here's 3 gold precursor orbs, which are one, a reference to the fact that the gold precursor orb is a Easter egg within Uncharted, but also having 3 of them throughout the level is like a little nod to having the hidden treasures throughout the games in general, and you got to do like a little bit of an Easter egg hunt for those. And 2 of them are just, one of them is on the main path, another one is like a little hidden in that you got to go a little out of your way, and the third one is actually just right behind the puzzle that you actually have to go out of your way to find and then solve the puzzle. So I really like that element of it as well.
Maybe if I revisit it, that'll change my opinion of it, because I played this sort of at the end of kind of just marathoning Astrobot, and I think my issue with it is that the overall feel of the level felt very similar to other Astrobot levels, and I can't point to specific ones, but like you're going through a sort of ruined temple and there are enemies, and it's like kind of what you were saying, it's an Astrobot level just kind of reskinned as a nod to Uncharted, whereas Ragnarok felt much more God of War-y with the soundtrack and the aesthetics, which were quite different to other Astrobot levels, the mechanics, which are quite different to other Astrobot levels.
Oh, I need to jump in there, actually, because I think the Uncharted Astrobot remix might be one of my favorite tracks in the game.
It is a good track. It is a good track. I will say that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that I disliked it. I'm just saying, like, God of War was my absolute peak one.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that going from God of War to Uncharted, it probably would have been slightly disappointing regardless, but it's a hard bar to meet.
Yeah, no, the God of War one is really good. I think the Uncharted one is good, but like it's like going from like a 9 to an 8 or a 7.
Yeah. 100%. The story basically non-existent. Didn't have to be existent at all. Totally
Alien stole all the PS5 parts, just going and retrieving all the PS5 parts, and that's, you don't need a story for a platformer. It's just retrieving so you have a reason to keep going through levels.
Yep, that's all cool.
I do like though that every time you retrieve a piece, you can go up to the side of the PlayStation 5 and it'll just have them singing along with the main hub music.
Yes. Yeah. I want to give a special shout out to all of the Astrobots looking Astrobot-y, and then Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot
is one, but they just put Spyro in this game.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, Spyro is in there too. But no, it's funny on the crashed desert planet. I can't remember if they get on the crash site planet.
It's just called the crash site.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Having all these Astrobots follow you, it's just this great kind of zombie horde-esque image of all these Astrobots running after you, and then just fucking Crash Bandicoot as Crash Bandicoot just also running after you.
There are a few that are really good in there. The thing I really like about the Crash Bandicoot one as well is that you can go up to him, press a dance button, and you start doing his victory dance along with him.
That's cool. Haven't tried that. Got to try that after this.
There are a lot of good Easter eggs in the Crash site with all of those bots.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think those are the main points I want to hit in terms of my thoughts on this game.
Yeah, for me, it's like, we hit a lot of things. Yeah, soundtrack's fantastic. I think it is a really well done platformer. Like, it doesn't have a lot of mechanics to it, but the mechanics themselves are tight. Like,
just on that, camera feels too slow, and I was
camera
annoyed
does
that
feel too slow,
and I couldn't turn it up in settings, and it was like, why?
The settings are surprisingly limited because I wanted to turn the music up, and there's no volume sliders in the game.
Yeah. There's a few little bits of that. Also on the mechanics, agree most of the way. I think.
I mean, in like base Astro's movements, like he has jump, he has hover, and he has a spin attack, and has a punch. Yeah. He doesn't have a lot going for him, but it feels it's very tight. It feels good to do all of those, so it's not lacking with what you can do. Like, Crash Bandicoot games are built on you can run, slide, and spin, and all of those levels feel fantastic to go through. And this is like the similar type of feeling. Like it's very basic movement and kit what you have, but the levels are designed well enough that just having a basic kit is fun to play an entire game with.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Do you think there's a difference between walking and running in Astro?
I think so. I never really tried walking with Astro much. Besides,
not that you try walking. My specific thing is that I on one of the worlds, can't remember which one, was just able to platform up some steps onto some trees and then across to other trees. And when I missed something that I wanted, I was then able to start part way along that. And because I didn't have enough momentum, I actually couldn't clear the gap. And
okay.
I don't know if it's just in my head and I just skill issued myself, or if there is actually a difference in you jump versus you get a bit of a run up and jump, because if it's the second one, I would like it to feel a bit more distinct, because it's really weird when you know you've cleared this gap before, and no matter what you try, it just doesn't feel like you can clear the same distance.
There might be. I never tried to look into that, but I'd assume there is a difference between just jumping and then like doing a full sprint up jump.
Not just jumping. I mean, that sort of makes sense, but like a very short run up versus like you've carried momentum from earlier spots. I don't know.
Okay. So like a difference between taking 2 steps and then just jumping, and then like 5 steps and jumping. Yeah.
Jumping in place, sure, that's fine. But yeah, no, I'd be curious because it's such a pedantic little bit, but it trips me. It's like when we were talking about Celeste, in that it doesn't feel like you can predict your character's movements in certain times. And that, I got that feeling specifically for this gap because I literally just cleared it without trying. And now, without the run-up, it was like, no, Astrobot has the same animation. It doesn't feel like I'm moving any faster or slower. I just cannot clear the same distances I know that I did 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
It's a trippy feeling.
I just know that they're pretty strict about what platformers call coyote time, where you can get like a little bit off the edge before jumping. Like Donkey Kong Country, you can do like a full roll off a ledge and then jump as the roll ends. And then there's other games that are like, no, once you're off that edge, you can't jump at all. So I know Astrobot is pretty strict about that mechanic. But yeah, I'm not too sure about the run-up. All of the VIP levels I find extremely fun, and to the point where I feel like a genie bottle has, not a genie bottle, like Pandora's box has been opened, and now I kind of crave an entire game of Astrobot where every single level is a different VIP level. Like 100%. It's just a game made of those IPs. Yeah. But yeah, no, all the gadgets you find out throughout the game are extremely fun. All of the like bots that you can find are really fun. There's so many deep pools, and then there's so many third-party IP ones that I'm shocked they did. Like I went through a graveyard level, and as I was playing it, I joked, it'd be really funny if they had a Ghosts and Goblins reference in its level, and then I found a Ghosts and Goblins Astrobot. I'm like, you're fucking kidding. I was making a joke. You didn't have to put Arthur in this game. There's like a weird dopamine hit that happens anytime you find a bot that you do recognize. Yeah,
which is why I haven't had that dopamine hit for a little bit.
Once you hit the back end
of the obvious ones.
Once you start hitting the back end of the game, it starts hitting less. But there are quite a few of them still that got for me. Like I went through a challenge level and then I was like, oh, that's Kiryu. I gotta go save Kiryu. And then I crushed that level because once you hit World 2, you can also find like these levels based on the PlayStation shapes. And
the void levels.
Yeah, and each of those are like just a quick 30-second challenge run that you got to do in one sprint of the level, and then you just save one bot at the end of it. And there's a lot of fun ones there that are just like one-off characters that don't get any other references besides that one character.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are a lot of fun. And essentially where I come with this game is like, I wish there was more. Like they've said... So in Playroom, there's 10 speedrun...
Season Pass?
No, give me 1 second. In Playroom, there was 10 time trial levels, and those were a lot of fun to do, to like, oh, hey, my friends have these certain times in these levels, I'm just going to go in and crush them all so that I get first place. And this game's lacking that. but they've said that they're going to be adding more of those Lost Galaxy style challenge levels, and they're going to be adding time trial levels. But then after playing the game, I also feel like these standard levels are at like the perfect length for I'd like Crash Bandicoot freestyle time trials, where you just load into a level, like maybe press square to load into it for a time trial version, or you pick up a clock as you're running through the start of the level, and it's just like, yep, nope, sprint through the level, no checkpoints, get through it as fast as you can, and then we'll put it up on a leaderboard, and those would be a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of what's here in the game is like really fun, really, it's very close to a perfect platformer game for me, because I can find no faults in it. And the only issue I have is I wish there was more. There's so many more things that I could imagine being in this game, and I'd love for... I can't wait for the update to come out, so I have a reason to go back into it and play more. But also, it's just a joy to play. It's easily recommendable to people.
Yeah, I would second that. Speaking of things that we could add, that we wish we wanted to add a lot more to, but probably have to leave it there. I think we're about ready to wrap this one up. So, out of 10, what are we thinking?
10.
10. Holy shit, Steve, you
Holy
okay
shit!
with that?
I didn't think we. No, we don't get. There's no such thing as a perfect game. This game's got something wrong with it. There's no Xbox level. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. I'm just jealous.
that would be funny. It's just it's the fucking purgatory, and you get to just walk around all of the studios that Xbox has killed.
It's like an empty field, and it's just a Starfield planet.
You're platforming, but you're platforming down the stock of Microsoft.
Not funny. Actually, I sold those stock.
Actually, you know what? There are Xbox references in here. It's got Crash and Spyro.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, good call.
You reckon they had to pay? Yeah, there was probably some weird licensing thing.
The deal was probably made way before the buyout happened, because this game's been in development for like 3 or 4 years.
Never stopped Microsoft before.
What do you mean? Microsoft bought Sony for that? And now because Astro-nomical has done really well, they're going to close it down.
Well, no, you guys, it's being closed. The Concord's being closed down.
No, this game's done phenomenally well. Like, it's on Amazon. It was #1 in like 10 countries the week it came out. I think this team is safe, and they have the mandate. They have the mandate of heaven. Let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Isn't it sad?
The fucking mandate of heaven.
2024. This game has done well. The team is safe. Holy shit, what is the SEAL Team 6?
You know what team isn't safe? The Concord team.
True. God damn. Anyway, we'll get to that. I purely on the little bits that are like taste, and just, yeah, the mechanical fidelity is there, but yeah, there's like a few other things. I think it's I also want just slightly more. As greedy first worldy as that issue is, but that's why for me it would probably be definitely not a 10, but a 9 feels too low. 9 to 9.5, somewhere in there, I'm not sure, but very very
out
good.
Of 100 then.
One last note I want to add on, like, just real quick. We don't have to discuss it, but I really appreciate the boss fights in this game. Like, these are some of the best boss fights that have been in games in years. The only other game that kind of lives up to it, in my opinion, is like the Mario Odyssey bosses, and even those are a little simplistic in some ways, that this kind of outshines a little.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is actually partially why I was thinking about Sly Cooper while I was playing this, because the boss fights of Sly 1 particularly felt very distinct.
Dead franchise.
Hey, can you shut up? But the boss fights of Sly Cooper 1 felt very distinct and creative with the mechanics in this in a very similar way. Shout out to the octopus that needs a snorkel.
Yeah, I love that octopus that needs a snorkel.
And the thing is, they double down because all the mini bosses, like the not mini bosses, mini enemies that are octopi also all have, octopuses, gotta be specific, also have snorkels. Like, even in the levels where they are clearly underwater, they need snorkels. I don't know. It's so dumb, but I love it so much. Anyway, Astrobot, go and play it. It's a good time.
Well worth the money.
Well worth the money. With that, we come to the end of part 1 for this week. Thank you both as always. We get to move on to part 2 for the week, which is, of course, the news. Kicking things off, Spider-Verse maybe has hit more problems. Now, there's a big big old Astrobot asterisk next to that because the composer or someone with more knowledge of the project has said that the headlines aren't true. So I'm still sort of waiting to see what can be made of that. But if the headlines are to be believed, then Sony has effectively sent most of the project into the Spider-Verse. And by Spider-Verse, I mean the Void. And they're starting again. And possibly pushing out the release date to 2027. Interesting strategy.
Yeah, originally it seemed like, so on one hand it's like, yeah, no, I'm glad that the animators are not being crunched to death and being allowed time to breathe with making a movie come out, because apparently the two directors are Phil Lord, I think it is, and I saw their names in this article before, but
yeah, Phil I thought it was Lloyd, Phil Lloyd and Chris Webber.
Yeah, those two,
Chris
Phil
Miller,
Lord and Chris Webber.
No, sorry, it is Lord. You're right. Phil Lord, Chris Miller.
So yeah, those two, they're like very off the cuff and like they make decisions, they make changes and decisions all over the place, like they're very spontaneous, which does put a strain on the animation team having to work to their new ideas. So context, this news broke like this morning, and that's why it's on the news docket, and then like as we were getting ready to record the news parts, someone from the sound team was like, yeah, no, the headlines are wrong. People are just going online and making things up.
Who would have thought? Surely that, yeah. God, I want this movie to come out.
The person in question being Daniel Pemberton.
I know that name. Oh, no, that is the composer, of course. It's like, where do I know that name from? From the soundtrack that I listen to all the time. Yeah. It's the composer. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get an update next episode. But now, who knows what's happening with Beyond the Spider-Verse? We thought we'd see that movie already.
Yeah, it has been a minute. Now, I always trip this one up. When did it come out? When did Across the Spider-Verse come out? Was it last year or the year before?
Last year.
Okay.
Was that? No, surely that wasn't last year. Surely that was 2 years ago. I'm fucking fact-checking you on that.
You see my dilemma.
What was it? Into the Spider-Verse?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, this isn't. Across the...
Yeah, cool. Taking too long.
Hang on. Yeah, sorry. Fuck. 2023. He's right. Fucking Jack Quaid is fucking Earth 65 Peter. I didn't know.
I didn't know that either. That's wow.
Homelander's got me bloody son. There's a this is just a Steven tangent we're going on now.
That's not Jack Quaid.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. I know, but there's this street art I walk past on the way home from the gym, and it's got this like it's like obviously this abstract thing with this guy with a beard. And every time I walk past it, it looks like Butcher. So every time I walk past it, I'm like, Homelander's got me bloody son. All right, move us along, Pat. This is too fun.
Speaking of things that are not too fun, the Minecraft movie.
Oh yeah, no, grim. Holy shit.
I don't really know what to say, honestly.
Yeah, I know. How fucking insane is it?
It was the perhaps perfect film to just run the old Super Mario gambit of just make it like animated, get a bunch of meme-worthy voice actors in so that everyone just loses their mind. You know what? Get Chris Pratt on the horn. He would have done it. But
Chris Pratt would have been a good creeper.
Interesting. But yeah, no. For some reason it's live action, so they're just doing live action on the green screen. Which, I mean,
it's a Minecraft isekai.
Someone animated the reveal trailer in Minecraft, and it definitely feels better than live action. I'm not going to say it's good in that there's something weird about like just faces not moving with words coming out, which is like the red versus blue thing, and that I'm sure you could do something in there, but I don't know how. What was the story? Was it adventure mode? There was some like standalone game that came out. I almost want to say it was a Telltale game, but I don't think it was. You guys know the one I mean?
No, yeah, it's a Telltale game. It's like Minecraft Story or something like that.
Minecraft Story mode.
Okay, so everyone's saying something similar.
I've got No, because I bought that game like a bajillion years ago, and it's literally been sitting on my laptop staring at me. And every time I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go play that, and then literally anything else happens.
Because my question was going to be how they handle like faces and dialogue in that. But anyway, this is all to say I am skeptical that a live action film will do well. But this is also made for children, and children will turn out in droves to see it. So rest in peace, the parents that have to go along to this is all I'll say. Anything from anyone else? Or are we going to sit in silence?
No, that was a good way to end that topic.
Perfect.
Yeah, like I don't know what else we can say. Like
Okay. Do you know what you want to say for Croc the Legend of the Gobos, which I've never fucking heard of?
How?
Very internet.
Nintendo YouTubers will let you know about Banjo-Kazooie, but Croc sold just as much as Banjo did.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have the same cultural legacy then. You know what else probably sold as much as fucking Croc Legend of the Gobos? Superman 64. I've never played that game.
I'd actually need to see that because both the Croc and Banjo sold 3 million copies. But no, this is neat. Croc is it's a mid game, but it's a beloved game.
Yeah, whereas Banjo-Kazooie is like a goated game.
If it was goated, it would have sold more than Croc.
I don't think we should acquit sales numbers to good games, my friend. How many sales has Astrobot had? Like 3? 2 of them on this call.
I mean, it's got to be at least 3. So, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I'd say at least 9 because that's the amount of countries it was topping.
Astrobot sales figures. Is it selling well? None of these. It's just saying it's selling well.
Yeah, no, they're not going to give numbers until like the end of the month, I think. Unless it does so good, Sony does a social media post like, hey, look, Astrobot sold 2 million units in the first week or something like that.
And you know what? It doesn't even need to like boost the number of people playing it with the PlayStation Plus numbers like Xbox would with Game Pass.
You guys actually wait. So this game wasn't on your fucking PlayStation Play or something? Holy shit, man! You guys are paying for first party games, man. Very grim, very very grim.
I like to support my developers.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? I bet you don't even pay. I bet you don't even tip your landlord. There, I said it.
Wait, this is coming from someone that buys Game Pass in another country just so he doesn't have to pay Microsoft as much.
My money's my own. I'm not giving it to another soulless corporation. Fuck off.
But yeah, no, anyway. The Croc remake looks really good. I really appreciate that they're going for the style. Like, graphically, it looks like a mid-90s CG render that they put on the box art. I think that's the perfect look for the game.
Yep.
No, you know what they should have called it? They should have called it Croc the Legend of the Gobbies.
I don't.
Okay, I'll stop now.
But you know what won't stop Balatro making them numbers go up, because that is coming to mobile September 26th. I would say I'm very excited. I don't know if that's actually true because I've lost a lot of hours of my life to this game, and knowing that it's available on mobile, I don't think sparks joy. I think
your work productivity is going to go way down.
Yeah, it just gives me anxiety actually thinking that I have it in my pocket at all times.
But couldn't you actually I can't remember what I was going to say. It's gone. But
to have on
you know
mobile,
what, doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
I do quite like the trailer of the very subliminal messaging of number go up by Balatro on mobile.
Yeah, no, it's like, if you don't have Balatro on mobile, stonks go down, but if you do have Balatro on mobile, stonks up.
True, and facts and logic. Very excited.
True.
Available for 10, I'm assuming US dollary dues.
Yeah, and it's going to be on the 26th of September, which gives you some time to come to terms with the fact you'll be buying it.
The prophecy. And speaking of sales numbers, just because it's mentioned in this article, but Balatro has reportedly sold 2 million since being released on Steam back in February.
That's nice for the developers.
Developers or developer? For some reason I thought it was one guy.
I don't know, actually.
I don't know either. Let's not speculate. Happy for them. We're moving on. Moving on straight to some Yakuza news. So, massive Yakuza fan, Steve. Why don't you talk us through this one?
I don't want to. Essentially, what happened was that they.
I don't want to. Does it anyway? Classic Yakuza.
Yeah. Okay.
fan
Well,
move.
what? I think it's called the Like a Dragon season now. But yeah. So to give context to this story, I think it was like a month ago. Fuck, I don't have it's on front of me, so I can't pronounce it. RGG RGG Studio. Absolute fumble.
This man's never said like a dragon in Japanese before. Fake fan.
They trademarked Yakuza Wars, and everyone's like, "Ooh, new game! Ooh!" And then like a
Yakuza X Sakura Wars crossover, maybe.
Nobody knew what this was going to be until earlier today, where on Facebook of all places, everyone's grandparents found out that Yakuza Wars looks to be like a Chinese mobile game that very much similar to our Mafia Wars, probably one of the greatest sham of all time. But I'm very disappointed with this. Even the cover art, no good. Looks terrible. There's something wrong with all their faces.
It's that mobile game render look that just makes it look really bad. I'm almost compelled to say it's AI generated art.
It's the sort of thing that you look at and you're like, okay, this is the splash screen for the mobile game. The mobile game gameplay is like just the most boring 2D generic
menus.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. Look, let's not. Yeah, maybe they put it back in the oven, eh? But yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes.
I'm not. I'll avoid it.
Big of you. Well, next up we have. Yeah, no, I was right. No, sorry, I thought I tripped something over. Dragon Ball. Wait, let me make sure I get this right. Sparkling Zero.
No, it's Zero Sparking.
Zero Sparking. My mistake. Has a Majin Buu Saga trailer. This game, I haven't seen the trailer, but I'm already quietly excited for Sparking Zero to the point where maybe
I'm loudly excited for it.
Maybe I might not be a day oneer, but I will imagine that I'll be paying pretty close attention to this. Does look good. Does look fun. And
looks good.
Due out.
I'm getting Evil Boo as well.
October. You done? You good?
11. No.
October 11th is when it's due out. Anyone else want to chime in with anything else?
Nah, I've already chimed in enough.
By the end of the trailer, they showed that there's still 25 characters they haven't announced left, and that's interesting because it means that with those 25 slots, they're going to have to squeeze in some Dragon Ball original reps, some movie reps, and some GT reps, or maybe even some more Dragon Ball Super reps. I really hope that the Super Saiyan 4s are in here because they're some of my favorite designs and characters in Dragon Ball.
Well,
surely it's just movie characters.
I 100% believe that at least, but Broly's going to be there. Z Broly's going to be there, but I also think that there's a high chance Cooler gets in. And we already know Bardock is in the game.
Yeah, he's always in the game, but maybe we'll have Goku's mum in the game.
What's she going to do? Use a meat cleaver?
One more time, big fella? I don't think I get that reference.
The only thing we see her do is chopping meat with a meat cleaver.
Well, she can do other things, I guess.
Chopping
this is weird. Move on, Pat.
With a meat cleaver? No, you're not.
Hang on. What instead of chopping meat, she was freaking on my meat.
Red card.
Yeah, no, fair. Absolutely
next.
fair.
Next up, we have 25 minutes of Bleach gameplay. I don't know what to do with this info. Congrats or sorry that happened.
No, congrats that happened. So this is that rebirth of Soul's game that is it Bandai?
Yeah, anyway, Bandai Namco always publishes shonen games.
Yeah, well, it got to be that something else. But yeah, so this is that arena. We thought it was more of an arena fighting game like your Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series,
Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm.
Yeah, or your My Heroes One Justice or the whatever the Jujutsu Kaisen game is. But yeah, this game, it looks less arena fightery, more fight. Help me out here, Seth. More like a traditional type of fighter game.
It's like a mix between being a traditional fighter and an arena fighter. Like there's things that are in there that look like, you got like your arena fighter, one button dial a combo things, but then there's also fighting game elements like a Tekken or a Soul Calibur style sidestep or backdashes, and it's interesting. It's like it looks like a good mix between blending the two genres. Yeah,
like I think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, no, it does genuinely look fun. I'm interested to see how it'll play out. There's a lot of weird, interesting mechanics going in, like how the HP system is like, you got to get like 9 points of fatal blows against the opponent, and there's different ways you can get around how many points you take off them. And then the transformation mechanics, when you transform, you switch the OST to your character's theme, and then the last character to transform basically has their theme play throughout the entire match. And that's a really cool detail that I really love.
Very, very cool.
The Yoruichi theme that we hear is just a straight up banger.
So good. So good. This game fucks.
I think Bleach might be back.
Finally, so fucking back.
Can I get the It's So Fucking Over, We're So Fucking Back call for Atelier Yumiya, the Alchemist of Memories in the Envisioned Land, which, man, people need to calm it with fucking titles of video games. Holy shit,
No.
like that sounds like trying to order a drink at Starbucks.
Good. That's what this series is based on.
You know what? Now I'm interested. Continue.
But they did like a big, I think it was like a 10 minutes first look deep dive into the game of like, here's everything that's going to be in the game, like what you can expect. And this game looks really fun. I've been interested in the Ryza games, but they always look too expensive to me. And then I realized recently, oh wait, no, it's not that it's too expensive. It's that they always had a season pass edition that I thought had story content, but it's all bonus costumes I'm not going to give a shit about. So it's actually fairly priced. But yeah, no, Yumiya just looks like it's going to be continuing on a lot of things that Atelier Ryza Free set up and just expand on those. And it looks like a fun game. I'm really interested to see this develop more and play it myself.
Cool. Anything from you, Steve?
I do not fucking care.
They give her a motorcycle. It's based.
Cool. Speaking of based, Yu-Gi-Oh! Classic coming to the Switch later this year.
Where the fuck is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories?
Okay,
where's Duelist of the Roses?
The actual full story for this game. To provide more aspects of this game, essentially what it is I think it's Konami. They're publishing 10 of the old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Games because they used to fucking shell something out fiercely, like every year be getting a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
And then Master Duel just came along and just made infinite money.
Yeah, pretty much. And they realized they didn't have to keep doing it. So they've announced, I think, 5 of them so far. I can't work out. Maybe I can't. No, I do not know. Maybe they haven't. So they've released 2 of them, announced 2 of them. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 4, Battle of the Great Duelist, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 6, Expert 2. I have no fucking clue what those games are. But it should be interesting to see like when it actually finally drops and like what is in there. Because there are certain games that are very good. Like there's Duelist of the Roses, there's Capsule Monster Coliseum, there's whatever that one was on Xbox, there's Sacred Card. There's a million good Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. That will only be worse when our nostalgia goggles are taking over.
This Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection will be based if it has a GPA Dungeon Dice Monsters game.
We can only hope.
Are we also only hoping for me to move us on to the next story?
Yeah, I guess
yes,
so.
Please.
Cool. Don't have a fancy segue, but Enotria?
I think that's right.
Enotria, is congratulations, that's the new name now, even if it's wrong. The last song. I don't know what to do. We talk about this? I feel like half of these are games that I've never heard of before.
I think we might have briefly talked about this at one of the game list episodes where it showed up at a Keeley event or something.
It feels like a listy game, but why are we talking about it now?
Because the developers recently had said that they were going to have to delay the Xbox version of the game indefinitely because they couldn't get the game published on there. And a lot of people were taking that, Sony must have gotten a third-party deal and made it exclusive. And then on Twitter.com, the developers went, no, like they replied to basically all of the people saying this, going, no, actually, we've been trying to get in contact with Microsoft for 2 months now so that we can publish the game on their system, and they're just not returning our emails. And in the moments that they did that, like a day later, actually, they put out another tweet going, hey, guess what? They replied to our emails. Phil Spencer personally came and reached out to us so that we could get back to work on the Xbox version of this game and release it as soon as possible.
I see.
It's just kind of a sad moment that why did the developers have to go on Twitter and make a, like, everyone had to make a big scene about it for Xbox to do their job and get a developer like its publishing rights.
Whoa, hold on. Xbox doing their job would be shutting down the developer. We don't want them to do their job. You're
right. But also, this isn't, these developers aren't tied to Microsoft, so they're safe.
but Seth, what if the game's good? Then they're not safe.
No, we went over this already. Astrobot was good, so those developers are safe. If Ventoria is good, then they will also be safe.
We'll have to wait and see. Speaking of waiting and seeing, until 2025, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics and Fighting Collection 2 coming to the X-Bone in 2025.
Similar case, it seemed like that. It just seemed like there was some issue with them being able to publish it on Xbox, and now that people are making a big ruckus about it, Xbox finally reached out to Capcom to go, okay, yeah, you can publish the game on our system.
And then Capcom went, actually, maybe we don't want anyone to play the game. We want them all playing Exoprimal instead.
I should do a check-in on that game again. But no, the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection one is funny because on every other platform that's coming out in a couple of days, actually, like 3 days from now. But on Xbox, they're going to have to wait until next year.
Bum, 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 bum.
I don't care for this. Like, the 3 players that are going to play this game, I'm sure they like it, but...
Yeah, a lot of people were just yelling like, oh, it's weird that it's not going to be on Xbox even though it's on everything else, and it just took a lot of that yelling for someone in Xbox to go, you know what, that is weird.
All the people yelling like, hey, it's not going to be on Xbox. Are you going to play it on Xbox? Well, no.
I'll likely be playing it on everything but Xbox.
Everything.
Very good. Very good.
I hate you.
Well, moving on to news that we actually perhaps care about. Hideaki Itsuno leaving Capcom after 30 years.
This is a big loss for the company because Hideaki Itsuno did so many games for them, and then like recently big ones were him being in charge of the Devil May Cry series ever since Devil May Cry 3, and also doing both Dragon's Dogma games. But early in his career, like in the 90s and early aughts, he was doing a lot of fighting game stuff as well. He created the Power Stone series. He was in charge of Street Fighter Alpha for a little bit. He made Rival Schools. He did a lot for them, and yeah, I'm happy that he's still going to be doing more things, and he's going to be jumping right into making a new game this month actually. But it's sad to see him leave Capcom, especially since he had said in the past he still had ideas for how to revive other Capcom franchises he's wanted to work on for a long time.
Like Exoprimal?
Actually, Rival Schools and Capcom versus SNK.
You could have just said no. Big loss. I feel like we're seeing a bit of a changing of the guard because this feels like the 3rd or 4th big name attached to a studio for 10 plus years that is now leaving to do their own thing.
Yeah, Capcom in general has been losing a lot of their older talent as well, but they've also been bringing younger talent up to the rise as well. So it's like the old guard's leaving, but the new guard is coming up on their own at that company. So it's interesting to see that happen.
It's been 30 years. Let the guy rest.
He's
tired.
He's not resting. He's going straight to a new game.
He's going to a new game?
He's
becoming a game? No. I can make one.
You don't have to.
You know what? Doesn't matter. But let the guy retire.
But clearly he doesn't want to retire.
He's not retiring. That's the point. You know what?
No, but I want him to retire. He's done enough.
I'm retiring this conversation. We're moving on. NetEase Games is planning to close Visions of Mana developer Oka Studios.
This one especially sucks because they announced this the day Visions of Mana came out.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but holy shit, man. You don't even
Steve's only laughing because that's an Xbox move.
Yeah, well, at least Xbox waits. At least pretends to be like, oh, we'll see how they go. Whereas this guy's like, nope, thanks for putting out your game. Everybody go home.
There's a lot of speculation about what happened, but essentially what's happening is that NetEase and Tencent are pulling back on their initiatives and like their push into the Japanese markets. Because NetEase has been quoted on it going, yeah, no, we saw how well Black Myth Wukong did in our local market, and we want to go push ideas like that instead of continuing to push Japanese studios. And maybe it's because, hey, Visions, they saw the Visions of Mana pre-order numbers and were like, yeah, no, this isn't anywhere close to the 15 million units Black Myth Wukong just sold. So
it's actually higher than that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So we're going to leave this market and fuck over everyone that we poached from every company in Japan, because Uka Studios is made by former Square Enix developers and I think some former Capcom developers as well. So really shitty situation. I heard one person describe it as NetEase is pulling an Embracer Group scenario in Japan.
Oh god.
And that does perfectly summarize it.
Yeah.
So
Man,
going back,
we were on such a streak of not mentioning Embracer Group.
Yeah, going back a topic for 1 second.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm really concerned that Itsuno had left Capcom to go work on a NetEase Games project.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because
surely
him leaving would have been decided months ago, and NetEase only just came to this decision recently.
If that's the case, and you're Capcom, surely you can hire him back.
Oh, I'm sure they'll hire him back, given his track record.
Cool. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Embracer sucks. Japanese Embracer also sucks. Are we good to move on?
Just one more thing to mention.
Fucking
Visions of Mana actually reviewed well. Like the day it came out, all the reviews were dropping. It did.
Yeah, which is why the studio's closing.
It did fairly well. Like people are really liking the game, and I think after people started putting their reviews out, the sales for that game started picking up, which makes them getting shut down even more disastrous. Because like, yeah, no, they didn't even get a chance.
It's almost, isn't that what happened with Telltale?
I think so.
They put out The Wolf Among Us and then said, hey guys, thanks for playing, we're closing down. And also, we're not going to pay developers.
No way.
I think that to be fair for Telltale, that's off the back of like years of them making games.
Right, but what I'm saying is, in this case, the game has come out. You say the sales numbers are picking up, but they're closing the studio anyway. If it is like the Telltale, I'm not insinuating that it is, but if they start pulling a Telltale of saying, hey, the studio's winding up, we're just going to take the money, it becomes a lot easier to kind of try and screw over the developers that, you know what I mean? Like, you're closing the studio, you don't have an incentive to, like, be nice to the developers that you know you're letting go anyway.
Yeah. I wonder what...
Shitty situation.
Yeah. Really fucked up.
Indeed.
Very weird thing to do.
Very. I can't segue off of either of those things that you guys said, so I'm just going to announce it. 18 million is the number you're looking for Black Myth Wukong sales, and holy shit, that is a big number.
Yep.
You reckon that's higher than Astrobot?
Oh, definitely. I believe this game got like a massive push in China, which is why it sold so much. Like it's become the face of the Chinese video game market.
Yeah, and we did see that.
I am interested to see where this goes.
We talked about what was it other game developers saying, hey, you know, everyone else is taking the day off to go play this. Feel free to also take the day off to go play this.
I didn't hear about that actually.
I swear this was something that we talked about. It was like a workplace thing of like, hey, everyone's taking like we're closing the office because everyone's taking it off to play Black Myth Wukong.
Or it was like a sign on a shop or something. It was I'm not sure if we talked about it here, but like there was definitely an image floating around saying, hey, we're closed or we're closing because of Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, maybe it was just in a group chat, but I imagine a lot of that sort of thing, like, you know, if you don't even have to think that it's that wild, because if you look at the stats for I think it was when GTA 5 came out, the productivity loss to like the American economy off of that many people calling in sick the next day to play GTA 5. It was like a visible blip on an index. So all I'm saying is, you get 18 million people in 2 weeks that all want to play Black Myth Wukong. I'd be willing to put money that a good chunk of those maybe even took time off to play it. I don't remember what day it was released on, but it wouldn't surprise me if people took time off to play it. But yeah, it must have been something in a group chat if we didn't discuss it here. But yeah, I mean, good on them.
Who could say?
Who could say? And off the back of 18 mil, much like Elden Ring, they see that it's just gone gangbusters in sales and go, hey guys, season pass.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if a season pass was planned anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm being a little bit goofy and gaffy with that statement, but they did announce that an expansion was in development.
Yeah. Interesting how they're doing like an expansion and not like a season pass type of thing. Very based.
Yes, Black Myth Wukong. Chinese mythology also talks about the battle pass.
Well,
good on them.
Well, let's see how it goes. I'm very interested in that game, and I'll see it.
Is it on the I hope that I stated this when we talked about Black Myth Wukong coming out, I guess 2 weeks ago now. But Space Marine is the big one on my list. Astrobot was honestly just a freak. It's cheaper than full price here. I might as well pick it up type purchase. But Space Marine's my next big thing. Is Black Myth Wukong? Where are we sitting at with?
I'm waiting for a
YouTube in terms
sale
of
after
play?
hearing how the game structure is.
Okay. Yep. Steve.
Wait, hang on. What? Hang on. I think I got lost.
Are you buying Black Myth Wukong? Was it something you were interested in picking up?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I was that tech demo they showed like 5 or 6 years ago. I was mega keen for it then. And I think I deluded myself into thinking it was coming to Game Pass. I think you said I had bought it. I'm like, no, I haven't. No, but I am very, very, very keen for
Steve.
It looks like a very good game.
Where he bought it in Turkey for 75% off.
He just needs to wait for the Xbox version to come out because there may be a Sony deal, even though no one said there is.
Yeah.
Who could say?
Jez Corden is an idiot.
Speaking of deals, though, Annapurna and Remedy announcing a partnership on Control 2, adapting Control and Alan Wake for film and television. We are so fucking back. Alan Wake is the perfect sort of thing to turn into. I mean, like, Alan Wake is modeled off of bloody Twin Peaks anyway, but it's the perfect sort of thing to turn into a medium. And you know what? I'll say it. I can't wait for them to reveal the teaser trailer where somehow Jack Black is involved, and it's live action, but then they do it in a green screen. I'm holding for applause. I am still holding.
I was just clapping into my microphone. If it didn't get picked up, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it definitely didn't get picked up.
I wasn't clapping. I need to play Alan Wake 2. Why I wasn't clapping.
I also need to play Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 1,
I need to play Alan Wake in general.
Still terrified of large masses of birds because of that game. And Control, also an excellent game. Very keen for Control 2.
Yeah, no, I haven't played Remedy's games myself, but I've heard fantastic things about them, so this does just seem like a good deal for them.
It does. I don't know that there's much else to hit on in this article. That was basically it. It was the big old headline. And I guess a side point, they still announced full steam ahead with Control 2, so I guess that's like a mini update on where Control 2's at, which I think is slated for 2025 release. Could be wrong on that.
Potentially. I think they canned their live service game, or was it like they were pushing it back? I forget in particular with that one.
Yes, I've also forgotten. Yeah, no, good point. Anyway, also a wait and see, but happy for them. Very excited. Anything more from you, Steve?
Nah.
Oh, so you want to keep your thoughts private, huh? Much like how some Ubisoft investors are pressuring.
That was a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Much like how some Ubisoft investors are pressuring company leadership to take Ubisoft private because their share price is at a, mentions it in the article, is it 10-year low or 15-year low?
10-year low.
10-year low.
Due to the reception of Star Wars Outlaws.
There's room for it to fall further. So I mean, let's let him cook. Let him.
We'll probably see when the new Assassin's Creed comes out. That'll probably be like I don't want to say deal breaker, but like that'll be what happens, because you don't really make a company private for no reason other than you're just worried about losing your job, because the shareholders would be like, nope, the board's not doing a good job. You can all get sacked.
I'm bored of this board. That's what they say.
Yep, that's exactly. I'm pretty sure that's what they say.
Yeah, and then it triggers.
The board's like, you know what, that was a good one, big fella, and then they walk out and leave, and like all of them have like golden parachutes.
They ceremonially kill the CEO on the back of that. That's the magic catchphrase. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I see. It's
it's from something I want to add is that it's sad to see that Star Wars Outlaws did so poorly, because from the preview footage, that game seemed like it was a pretty interesting take on a Star Wars game, and then reviews came out and it's like, yeah, no, it's okay. And it's buggy as fuck.
It's a Ubisoft game.
We haven't had a game
It's a Ubisoft game.
We haven't had an Ubisoft game this buggy since Assassin's Creed Unity. And in fact, I've seen multiple bugs from that game that are just from Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm perplexed how they did that 10 years later.
Have you guys seen the gameplay comparisons of, like, okay, this I'm in two minds. I really hate railing on a developer, right? Because, you know, more games better than less games. Ubisoft has given me some absolute bangers over the years. It's honestly sad to see the state they're in now. At the same time, I still have a bad taste in my mouth when, I don't remember who it was, but some mega dick swinger came out and goes, Skull and Bones is a quadruple A game. Buy it, it's awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was Yves Guillemot himself.
I think it might have been. And so there's a little part of me that's just loving the schadenfreude of hearing this, because all I see with the headlines of, you know, Ubisoft shares doing this, Ubisoft that shares doing that, is that clip of the earnings report from, I assume, last quarter, and someone at Ubisoft going, every a reception from players and critics has been very positive to our upcoming Assassin's Creed and Star Wars games. They are this. It's all looking really good. They're all going to be amazing. And then seeing, they're basically like Crobe Caddy sort of videos of like, this is Ubisoft's massive AAA gaming masterpiece, Star Wars Outlaws. And then it just compares like a game from, you know, like pre-COVID. Like, I've seen quite a few comparisons with Red Dead Redemption 2,
I saw a Crobe Cat style video of Concord versus Killzone 2.
See, that one I haven't seen. That one I'm curious of, if only because I genuinely don't know what the gameplay of Concord looks like.
It's a hero shooter.
Yeah, no, I get that. But no, some of the Crobe Cat videos for Star Wars Outlaws are very, they're funny to watch, but it's like, they're funny, but then you think, are these problems that people are aware of and wanted to fix and weren't able to, just because of timing and budget and other things? Or is this, I guess what I want to know, is this the Starfield thing of what we get is, let's be honest, lackluster, but management up until this point has talked about how this is the game that they wanted to make and everything is fine and everything is hunky-dory? Or is this we just kind of had to make some cuts here and there to like get it out the door and it's in a worse state than we thought type thing? The reason for saying that is stuff like, I don't think it's a big ask that if you pick up a weapon in a game, that you can walk up and down ladders with that weapon. And Star Wars Outlaws says you picked up a blaster, you want to climb up a ladder, you have to drop the blaster, and you just automatically drop the blaster so you climb up. Fine. You know, it's a gameplay choice. You want to do it that way, fine. It then feels very, very weird when in that same game, you can tell your pet, hey, I just climbed up the ladder, I need you to fetch the blaster for me. And the pet can take the blaster up and down the ladder
that's weird.
Without issue. It's a weird choice that both of those things exist in the same game.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I'm not saying that's the point that Star Wars Outlaws lives and dies on for me, because there wasn't a lot in this game that enticed me enough to like seriously look at getting it. But knowing that there are interactions like that just to me feels like a game that isn't polished. I'm not even sure if it's a polished thing. It's just like, how do you get to a gameplay design perspective where both of those things are true at the same time? And the number, just like the one other one that I want to hit, and then I'll let you speak, is just the number of videos of, I am playing this game on the highest difficulty and I'm hiding in a bush and nothing in the game can touch me.
Yeah, I've also seen like really weird cases of you stealth an enemy from a bush and then you like teleport 5 meters away from there.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen that one, but sure. What were you going to say?
The issue, I think, is more so that Ubisoft games have so many employees on them that it's hard to dictate decisions like that across the board. Like, there's a lot of things. Ubisoft games at this point just feel like different concepts stapled together to make a semi-functional game, because they've got like 6,000 people all across different regions of the world, all on this one game, trying to build it into some sort of mega open world game for them. And that something that big of a scale, there's going to be a lot of like weird things like that slip through the cracks, because how do you oversee 6,000 people on a massive super game?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not saying I have any sort of solutions here, but
the solution is to scale down.
But yeah, it very much feels like there was a time when you said it's an Ubisoft game and it meant, oh, it's an Ubisoft game, it's very good. Like early Assassin's Creed, Rayman Origins, that's an Ubisoft game. Shit, I'm sure there's tons of others. I'm just blanking on all of them right now. But the point is, I'm not even sure if it's an Ubisoft thing, but just something about games from people that we know have done well in the past. Games recently have just not clicked. Like, not even that they're very bad is the weirdest part. It's not that this is a bad game. Like, no one thinks... I haven't seen any reviews talking about how this is a bad game that you shouldn't play. It's just... it's not good enough to entice people to play it over so many other better things that are currently available. And so many of those better experiences are coming from smaller teams with, I guess, just a more interesting hook or better execution on a game, on like some aspect of game development.
Yeah, for reference, we really enjoyed Astropot. That was a game made by 65 developers over a course of 3 to 4 years.
That's nothing. Like, for comparing it to like any AAA game, 65 devs over a couple of years is like that's I'm not even sure what sort of scale that would be compared to a AAA game, but yeah, that's tiny.
Yeah, and then like for that kind of sentiment, at least with Ubisoft games, I think it's because they keep expanding their teams and so much that their teams do just become content mines to a point. That at least with Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, those games felt tight and knitted, and like there was something, like there was like an overarching vision for the Assassin's Creed games at a certain point, and then like post Assassin's Creed 3, maybe even Assassin's Creed 3 itself, their games just started becoming content mines and content sludges that they just started to embody all the worst parts of an open world game instead of being these tight open world game experiences. They just became add more to the game so that it's a bigger game, so that there's more maps, so that there's more things to do in the map, and it ended up just being like, yeah, no, these games are fine, but there's no big hook because there's no one there that can give those games a hook.
Does anyone know if anyone's favorite Far Cry game is a game that came out after Far Cry 3?
Oh, that's a fucking good question.
Because I know people have said good things about, I think, 5 and 6.
I've said good things about 6, but 3 is still my favorite.
And that's kind of my point.
2 is my favorite, but that's
also my point, is that almost everyone I know, when I say, what's your favorite Far Cry game? Far Cry 2 or Far Cry 3, almost without fail.
Yeah. I think it's because that's where they, like, every game after Far Cry 3 is just, oh, it's Far Cry 3 with something different, or it's a little bit technically, like, better. Like, there's nothing different. It's the same thing. Like, there's no change. There's different skill in the enemies.
Yeah, it's difficult to bottle lightning twice. I'm not saying that every game needs to be a Far Cry 3, and you're right, it starts becoming easy if you know your favorite game is Far Cry 3. Every game after that becomes an inherent comparison to Far Cry 3. But it's crazy to me that you have what feels like these massive companies, Ubisoft, EA to some extent, because they are also kind of fucking around. Actually, no, you know what? We will throw EA in there as well.
We will,
just because
100%.
they're sort of the umbrella of like BioWare and a few others of just like, what's the last good game from these places that we know have produced good games in the past? No, I'm not looking for that question to be answered. I'm just saying it's sort of like, this is a symptom of the...
Yeah, no.
It just feels symptomatic of the industry, and it's sad.
Yeah, Activision
genuinely.
was in that same point because Call of Duty was going down, like, reception for Call of Duty was down so much that one of their fiscal years was like, yeah, no, we only got into the green because Crash Bandicoot 4 and Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD saved us, and one of those games is a remaster of PS1 games, and the other one was actually a brand new game. But then, like, reports are coming out that, like, yeah, no, while Crash 4 was in development, they had ideas for Crash Bandicoot 5 already sitting there, that Activision just cancelled and never picked back up.
Yeah, well, don't worry, Seth. Bobby Kotick's gone now. He can't hurt you.
But he's been replaced by Phil Spencer, which I'm not going to say is just as bad, but it's getting there. Actually, you know what? While we're quickly shitting on Phil Spencer, and by we I mean me, I'm going to quickly add into the news docket that at PAX West he did a story time panel where he just talked about how he absolutely fumbled every bag in the industry he's ever been handed.
Yeah,
true. Actually, yeah, no, we should have talked about that.
I've seen someone. As one person I heard talk about the topic was like, yeah, no, he's talking about this like he's trying to get fired because under no other circumstances do you go out in public and say, yeah, so I'm like really bad at my job. When I was offered it, I turned down Destiny and Guitar Hero before they became massive successes.
I think he's just trying to say with that point, just like, look, like you don't know how big things are going to be. Like,
yeah, but he's got a history of so many bag fumbles that it's embarrassing at this point. He's turned down GTA 3. He's turned down Guitar Hero. He's turned down Destiny. He's turned down Genshin Impact. He's turned down the Spider-Man Insomniac games because they pitched it to Microsoft before they pitched it to Sony.
Oh, I didn't hear about the Spider-Man, man. That's fucking those are all biblical proportions. But how many things he said no to that didn't do anything? Like there's probably more that he said no to than he said yes. You can only remember your failures. You don't remember your successes. But yeah, fuck the Spider-Man games, man. That's a biblical fumble. He's got to be at least on a performance improvement plan. Microsoft's giving him 6 months.
But yeah, anyway. I do think I kind of agree with the person saying, yeah, no, he's trying to get fired because if he gets fired, he gets a payout. if he quits, he gets nothing. If he gets fired, he gets a golden parachute.
4D chess right there. I love that. Anyway, should we return to the Ubisoft story?
I think we were done with the Ubisoft story.
Yeah. What more is there to say? It's gone down the toilet.
Yeah. 10-year low. Investors are calling for the replacement of CEO Yves.
I missed that part. Yves Guillemot.
Well, yeah, but basically...
Shareholders always do that bullshit. Oh, no, we didn't make as much money as we did last year. Sack everybody. It's dumb.
Right. I feel like in Ubisoft's case, they've continually not made as much money as last year.
10 years, yeah. Talk about fumbling the bag.
Should I, Phil Spencer? Anyway, yeah. Just wanted to bring it back with a bow. People believe, well, some people. Some investors are calling for it to be taken private specifically because it has already lost so much value that the chances of it rebounding as a publicly traded company seem slim, according to the analysis of some of these companies, where some of them point that shares should be valued as high as like 40 to 45 pounds a share, which is what are we down to at the moment? 13 pounds at the moment. So some analysis suggests that the shares should be worth 3 to 4 times what they currently are. So massive bag fumbling somewhere in there.
Ubisoft will bounce back. We just got to buy into the shares now while they're at an all-time low.
Buy the dip.
Hang on.
Actually, you know what, Steve? Article just for you in the related stories of the week of that one. Is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 on Game Pass? Can you play Space Marine 2 on Xbox Game Pass? Unfortunately, it isn't available on Game Pass.
It's not funny.
I don't know why this is an article.
The developer simply said no when asked about the prospects.
How is this an article? What the fuck?
Xbox players need to know if they're going to play a game or not.
Holy shit! Just buy the fucking game. Anyway,
no, they've been trained they've been trained to play games on Game Pass and nothing else.
Well, just like nobody owns movies anymore, nobody owns. You know what? Let's not get into the big streaming.
I own movies. I own Kingsglaive.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. How based. Absolutely. What a great movie.
Jesse, we need to cook.
But when was the last time you bought a movie?
I never buy movies. I pirated them.
Yes, fucking exactly. This fucking guy. No wonder the movie industry's dying.
Gearbox paid me to give me Borderlands.
Actually, does buying a movie ticket count? Because then it was Deadpool and Wolverine. I went and bought a ticket to go see that.
Because you don't own the movie. You don't own the movie You can't watch that whenever you want.
According to the rip on his hard drive, he does own the movie, actually.
No, not till it's out in HD. I'm not using one of those cam rips.
Yeah, thank you, Sony camcorder on a tripod.
with the audience clapping.
Yeah, and someone's head in the middle standing up to go to the bathroom.
Every time Deadpool says something funny, someone's laughing.
Fun fact about me, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I didn't know about the differences between normal movies and cam rip movies. So I was watching at someone's house a cam rip version of Triple X, I think it was called. I think it was a Vin Diesel movie. What? But every now and then, like, people
Vin Diesel Triple X?
But every now and then, like during big action segments, people would stand up and clap and cheer, and I just thought that was part of the movie experience that they built into it. And I'm like, that's a really weird thing they did, but okay.
One of my mates bought a movie from somewhere over in the UK, like one of the supermarket chains. Back when, remember when you could buy movies at supermarkets?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this time. It's been a.
I still see Disney movies at Woolworths.
That's crazy. Anyway, he picked up, I think it was a Disney movie, actually. I'm pretty sure he picked up, oh shit, maybe it was Finding Nemo? Anyway, picked it up and then assumed that everything was above board or whatever, and then actually just had, while watching it, two heads get up and then just move across the screen.
Yeah.
It was a simpler time.
Simpler time. I watched June 2 as a cam rip, because I couldn't wait. And then, like, after I watched it, they announced it was coming out, like, 2 weeks later, there was someone coughing, one of the silent parts. That was pretty funny.
All right, I gotta
really
find
took me back to a different time.
I gotta find a web rip of Borderlands now that I think about it.
Just imagine you're just watching a film and you just hear someone's phone going off on the audio track.
I'd kick the TV in, I reckon.
Anyway, why don't we move on? Although I agree, I also want to watch. I don't care how many people say it's shit. I need to claim that I am one of the few people on the planet to have seen the Borderlands film. Born too early to explore the stars, born too late to explore the land, born just in time to watch the Borderlands movie. Anyway, Destiny 2 abandoning big annual expansions. I was about to pull the name of the last one, and I've already forgotten it. Something which?
I think the last one was Dying Light.
Could have been.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too.
No, it was the final shape.
Destiny fans.
Okay. I was initially going
Beyond the final shape.
I was initially going to say Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm like, that's not the right franchise.
That's a Final Fantasy 14 expansion.
You know what, Seth? You're right. Anyway, they're abandoning these in favor of more frequent releases that are, in their words, mysterious, weird, and not afraid to try new things. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands DLC, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, one of the things they say is that they're going to be doing it every 6 months instead, and it's going to be like smaller scale. And I think this is doom and gloom for the Destiny franchise.
It definitely feels that way, yeah, because this feels like let's toss everything at the wall and see what sticks, rather than let's put something together as this big. I guess I'll put it a different way. Borderlands, which I love dearly, and I know we just shat on for the movie of, but Borderlands, actually, yeah, all of the main Borderlands games, they, maybe not the first one, all of the other Borderlands games have had big story-based DLCs. They have pretty consistently been much better experiences than combining lots of these smaller one-shot DLCs that they've put out. I'm thinking like Borderlands 2, the Headhunters stuff was good, but it's a lot smaller of an experience compared to a much larger expansion, and it shows.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time when we talked about how Bungie had a mass layoff again, and basically restructured the entire company,
and everyone got to look at the Ferrari of the CEO.
Yeah, but essentially in that topic as well, they said that Destiny 3 was essentially cancelled. I think it was in pre-production or was about to start production or somewhere along the lines there. And it's like, actually, no, we're going to scrap Destiny 3 and just continue working on Destiny 2 forever, because that's the cheaper thing to do and to keep us afloat. And all of these smaller content packs is definitely a reaction to that of going, well, we didn't have any ideas on how to continue Destiny 2, so we're just going to have to pull things out of our ass for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion.
I don't play Destiny.
Good luck to Destiny fans.
Yeah, I wish I liked Destiny 2 more, but it's not a game I play, and then they start vaulting all of the old story content, and it's like, actually, yeah, no, now I never want to touch this game.
Yeah, it feels
You're never gonna play
like... I'm saying this as someone who also hasn't played it, but I've been told that I would enjoy it because I like games like Borderlands, games like Remnant, games that have a lot of mechanic crossover to Destiny 2. But my assumption, rightfully or wrongfully, is that there is now so much in Destiny 2 that picking any point to start now, you're almost always just playing catch-up rather than being at the right kind of spot for the new content coming out. And that feels like you could get to that point, with way more grinding than normal, but it doesn't feel like that would be a fun experience as a new player compared to if they had announced Destiny 3 and then everyone's starting Destiny 3 at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's also just a point
I think I feel exactly the same. Oh, no, okay.
It's also a point of they keep harping on they want to tell a great story. They want to have like this big world that's full of mystery and things to discover, but in part of doing that great story, they've done a lot of like plot twists across the expansions, and by vaulting things, they've essentially created a game where it's like, for the first half of the story, you need to go to a YouTube essay to understand what's going on before you can jump into the game.
Yes, I love my 8-hour YouTube deep dive, just so I can enjoy the video game.
You can just play the video game and not worry about the story. That's kind of the same
but
thing.
part of their selling points is that they're telling a great story.
Oh. Well, anyway, I had this kind of problem when I was like playing Final Fantasy 14 and Where Reborn. Like there is so much content in it. And to get to the good content, you have to go through the bad, and all of it. A Realm Reborn is not good.
A Realm Reborn is like a 5.
5 is generous. It's a 3 on a good day. There is nothing in that. Fetch quest after fetch quest after fetch quest after bullshit.
And then you fight Ifrit.
And then you kind of get to the end.
And then you do more fetch quests until you fight Titan.
Yeah, all the Titans, all of the big boss battles they do are cool. And then that's kind of it. And then you do the patch things, and the final cutscene goes to like 20 minutes, and that's really good. But then by that time you're burnt out and you're like, I'll come back to it later, and you're not going to go back to it.
No, you're not going to go back to it, but I did. And most people did.
I just randomly need to cut in here. This was something that I meant to bring up as a question. We are so fucking far past where this was relevant, but I'm still curious.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You bought AstroBot digitally, Seth?
No, I got it physical.
Oh fuck. Okay, never mind. Because this should piss you off, Steve. I bought the physical disc because I thought I want to save the space that I have on my PS5, the limited space that I have, because every game is like 7,000 gigabytes now. The physical game of AstroBot required a 35 gigabyte download.
Wait, it did?
No.
Oh, no. No, all the games get installed to the SSD anyway because Blu-ray drives are slow as shit.
Hang on, so it installs it to the Blu-ray drive. Hang on, that doesn't make sense. Hang on, the Blu-ray drive is what's reading the disc.
The Blu-ray drive installs the game onto the SSD. Like the physical games at this point hold the data, put it onto the SSD, and then at that point it's just like a key to play the game.
I had this backwards. Never mind. Now I look like a complete fucking tool. Why the fuck did I buy both of those physical? Yeah, no, never mind. Play on.
Yeah, no, physical games have worked like that for years.
I'm telling you, physical. Why would you buy a physical game? Like, what's you get a disc? They download it. They download it anyway. Fuck off.
To own the game.
Okay.
You don't want a Concord situation where they take it away from you.
Game.
Let me salvage this real quick. I'm shocked that a game as good as AstroBot is only a 36 gigabyte download.
Is Minecraft still like 1 megabyte or whatever it is?
No, it'd be way more than that at this point.
At least 2. Anyway, anything more to talk about Destiny 2?
No, I'm done with Destiny 2.
Nah, I'm done.
So is... Fuck, actually... Sorry, try that one again. Anything more to talk about Destiny 2?
No, I'm done with Destiny 2.
Well, speaking of being done with things, Sony's done with Concord.
Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I know we're jumping over one. We'll come back to that one. It's just the segue
no,
was so
that's
perfect.
fine. It's a better starting topic.
Much better. Yes, Concord.
We've made allusions to it all throughout the podcast. We can finally talk about it.
Which, by the time this is up, there might be a longer period between when this post went out and this episode going up than Concord was as a game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That is...
That's funny.
No, that's not a real possibility. That is not a real possibility.
There is if Steve rubs a magnet over the hard drive and corrupts the recording.
I'll offload my recording when I come back from Sydney.
Steve just refused to upload your audio like you normally do.
Essentially,
what I normally do? I usually do.
Essentially, what happened is that Concord did so poorly that 11 days after launching, game director Ryan Ellis from Firewalk Studios went onto the PlayStation blog and said, "Hey, we got an important update for the game. It didn't land the way we intended, so we're going to be offering full refunds to the game and taking it offline when he posted it this week." And then that brings the total game's length time of being alive to 2 weeks total. Not a great look. Not a great time for Concord. I'm glad that they refunded everyone. It's completely offline now, so you cannot play it. So I don't know what those 6 people on Steam were trying to do.
Sitting in the menu longingly.
Lots and lots of memes about it. My favorite one in particular being, "No, wait, we were all busy that weekend. Release it again later."
Yes.
That is a good one, yeah.
That's so good.
But they say they're going to be taking the game back and like trying to rework it, try to figure out what to do to make it the game they want it to be and like a community to thrive. I think this is an Anthem situation. I think they pulled it. The game's going to be shot in the head.
Grim.
Yeah, I think
very grim.
Everything that requires this game to pull an audience requires basically making a completely new game.
I mean, hold on. Multiverses did a similar thing, and that... Oh, hang on.
That's because it was in a beta.
Yeah, this was the Concord beta. Didn't you see the petition? Everyone was busy that weekend.
But no, one of the big reasons that Concord didn't take off was just like the character designs were doing nothing and the art style was trash. And just to pull people, you'd have to completely redo all of those, which is essentially just making a new game.
I've got it. We'll give the hedgehog human teeth.
And from IGN, they did an article saying that industry analysts are putting that the game potentially sold as high as 25,000 units.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, 25,000. That's it's only what?
It's the worst performing Sony game ever.
That was what, 8 years and $100 million.
Maybe 150.
Ooh, okay. So we'd needed to sell at least 30,000. To no, we're gonna need a few more than that actually. 40,000.
But yeah, no, Concord underdelivered, underperformed, gone before it had any time to make any sort of impacts.
It again though, this feels like another game that I haven't heard anyone say that Concord's a bad game. It's just
it's not. It's in an oversaturated market. There are 3
and it's like
million other
definition of
hero
mid.
shooters. Well, and it's just oversaturated. There's
everyone I heard talk about Concord that actually played it said that the shooting elements of the game were really good. Like that was the best part of the game. But you need to do more to attract the market than just make the guns feel good to shoot.
Yeah, you've either got to have like anime waifus or you got to have a big IP backing it. Maybe. You just got to.
The real beauty of the situation was that it went offline the day Astrobot came out. Astrobot saved us from mid.
Well, I just think it's funny that because the PS5 lost one game and they got a game, they're still at net zero.
No, Concord didn't count because it's also on PC. It was never a PS5 game.
No.
You can't have it both ways.
I still can't wait to see what happens with what's the Netflix series?
Worlds? Yeah, the Amazon series.
Yeah, the Amazon series.
Oh, Amazon series, yeah.
Yeah, the Concord episode is still...
They're actually doing an episode for that.
The Concord episode is still on its way. They said they're not going to cancel that episode.
Holy fuck. That means they've already finished it. That means that it's like, yeah, we've got this finished. This will help us sell more titles of the game. And it's going to come out and it's like, what game is this? I don't know. Fucking hell. It'd be like if, remember how Cyberpunk Edge Runners came out like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
Everybody loved that. So they started playing
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. It's like that. And it's like, oh yeah, I want to play Concord now. It's like, you can't.
Yeah.
Imagine they try to re-release
How do I
it
buy
when
it?
that episode comes out.
The same thing's going to happen again.
You know what they need? They need Morbius DLC.
Yes.
Oh, hang on.
Make it work, Marvel.
We need gentle minions, but for Concord.
Jesus. Remember that Minions thing like 2 or 3 years ago where people were getting dressed up to see the
Yes, the
Minions
gentle
movie?
minions. But I just said, Steve.
Oh, that was
thank
you
you.
talking about. Sorry, I didn't know that was cool.
No. I appreciate a fellow gentle minion.
Maybe they need
Banana,
a
am
Minions
I right?
first person hero shooter.
But we should move on. We've spent longer
Yeah,
on
Minions.
we've spent longer on Concord than Sony did.
Okay.
What a segue. Sony. Fuck. I'm just sorry.
You okay there, buddy?
We're about to celebrate 30 years of PlayStation, which now, when you think about it, because of how long Concord's been in development, just under a third of the life of PlayStation has been spent on a game that lasted 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
Fucking poetry. Anyway, we're going to celebrate 30 years of PlayStation. There's a few cool things. There's My First GT, which is basically trying to get people to play Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
so
it
that's
seems
kinda
like
cool.
it sounds like they're doing like a very comprehensive demo mode for it.
There's a free multiplayer weekend, which, remember back in the day when you didn't have to pay for free online multiplayer? Fucking love being alive in 2024.
This isn't even a special thing because they do free multiplayer weekends every few months.
We have some digital soundtracks. Those are cool.
The God of War ones and Twisted Metal would actually be pretty good. I don't know anything about Starhawk or Unit 13's OSTs though.
Unit 13,
Unit 13 is an odd pull.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Unit 13 is the game that I'm thinking of that I know and have played.
It's a Vita game.
Yeah, and I cannot for the life of me describe what the soundtrack is to you.
Well, we'll know soon enough when they release it digitally.
And some PlayStation tournaments. Yay.
Also,
happy
some
30th.
PlayStation board game and accessories. Like, there's this weird version of tic-tac-toe where you use the PlayStation symbols, but because you have to match up 4 symbols, it completely breaks the flow of the game.
It's very much at least you tried. Yeah, cool. I see. The shapes of play.
Yeah. What's the recharge one? Is that just dimming toys? Lets you experience a new way to recharge between games. Yeah, I think the shapes of play recharge toys are just like fidget toys.
No, it's Play-Doh, so you have a fun little gamer snack in between rounds. They made it out of real crayons.
I hope they announce more because this is kind of a shitty way to celebrate 30 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's nothing in here.
Like, cool, a Gran Turismo demo, or bad toys,
You know what
or...
would be really funny? 30th anniversary, we're re-releasing Concord.
The 30th anniversary of Concord, maybe it might get a re-release.
Like, for 30th anniversary, I would have expected, like, a massive blowout of, like, here's a shit ton of PS1 games being released digitally.
Yeah, here's a bigger than normal PlayStation sale or something. Here's some Play-Doh, a tech demo, or like just a fucking big-ass demo for GT7. Everyone's favorite... Yeah, everyone's favorite God of War soundtracks. You mean 2018? No. The other one.
The music from the original games are pretty good.
Oh, no. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, off the back of the success of God of War 20... Is it 2018? Yeah, 2018. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. People are like, so you're doing God of War soundtrack releases. That's cool. Is it those ones? No. It's the God of War games that I don't think you can play on PS5.
You can
Actually, no,
if you're in North
think
America.
Okay,
Because they're tied to that PlayStation Now streaming service. That's part of the most expensive tier of PlayStation Plus now.
God, just fucking end me now, honestly. Yeah, I'm good to move on. I don't think there's anything else that I want to talk.
Yeah, no, shitty anniversary. Hope they announce more.
An early glimpse into some of the ways we're giving thanks to you, our money bank. Sorry, community. They spelled it community, but finally on the list, PS5 technical presentation, where they are almost certainly announcing PS5 Pro. And they're apparently, wait, what's this in the fine print? Giving a PS5 Pro for every game available on PS5 to everyone that wants one because of the 30th anniversary.
Wow.
God, I wish.
Shame they've got no games.
We've been over this. They have one game, and it's Astrobot.
No. They have two games: Astro's Playroom and Astrobot.
Shit, you're right.
Anyway, the technical presentation is set for today in podcast. No, it is today. It just ticked over to tomorrow for me. So today, podcast time. So almost certainly, most of this news will be disseminated
3 hours from now.
By the time this goes up. Yeah.
Do you think I can edit this podcast within 3 hours? Probably not.
Upload it raw.
Don't do that. Otherwise, all of the audio of the slurs that Steven drops in between takes will be uploaded as well.
Don't know.
Can't have
What do you
that.
mean in between takes? What is
Well,
this,
you're trying
movie?
to find the right slur for the right group, I assume. Like, you seem really adamant to try find the right one.
You know what? Let's move on. This is anti-Steven rhetoric.
Would you prefer us to move to anti-Phil Spencer rhetoric?
He's digging himself his own hole.
But yeah, they're bringing out Mark Cerny to host a 9-minute PlayStation 5 presentation, and you don't bring out Mark Cerny if you're not going to be doing a PlayStation 5 Pro announcement.
I still can't believe his name is so close to Mark Sony, but it's not. It definitely feels like we got Sony at home and you see Cerny on the box.
You know what I hope actually happens? He doesn't announce a
changes his name
PlayStation
to
5
Mark
Pro.
Cerny.
He announces knack free and how that's taking advantage of every PS5 hardware like sensibility. Every feature of the DualSense will be used by knack.
It's taking advantage of shit. What's the thing that Donkey memes on with the Bugsnax video? There's like 43 quintillion. It's like a term that's almost correct but means absolutely nothing.
I don't know.
I have no clue what the fuck you're talking about, my friend. I think
it's in his Bugsnax video. I do, but that's unrelated. It's in his Bugsnax video. He's talking about how, like, finally a game that can utilize all of the hardware that the PS5 has to offer.
Oh, teraflops?
No, teraflops is a real thing. What the
I don't know what it means.
That's not the joke,
Might as well
Seth.
not be real
God damn it.
It sounds like a thing Donkey would make as a joke.
No, but fuck, you know what? We're moving on. I can't help you.
For the record, I know teraflops is a real thing. I just thought it'd be funny to say Donkey says teraflops is a fake thing.
Like you said, it was so much genuine. You're trying to help, but it's like you named one of the only things that I know is not the thing. Oh, god damn it. Anyway.
It takes on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Anyone interested? I'm not.
I have a PS5
We'll
at
see
home.
what happens. I don't have a PS5. Maybe should I get the PS5 Pro?
No,
It's not even
it'll
out yet.
be
Why are we talking about
$1,000.
Only in Japan.
$1,000.
Actually,
Well,
yeah, let's play a game. If a PlayStation 5 Pro gets announced, how much do you think it'll be in our currency?
Our currency. Well, I don't know what New Zealand are using. Are you still guys using the kilogram for the wool? Is that?
Yeah, no, it's that, or sometimes if you have to give change, it's those giant stone discs with the hole in the middle that they discovered a couple thousand years ago.
Oh, we call them coins. Those are back now, man.
Those are so fucking back.
No, I reckon. How much does the PS5 go for now? Let's find out. PlayStation.
I think somewhere between
5
$750 to $900.
Yeah, that's the
$7.95.
ballpark in my head.
$7.95?
I can get this. Oh, $7.95 for the slim, and I can get this. I can get the slim digital for
There's a
$6.79.
slim PS5.
It's
Did I
got
know
slim
about
bracket.
this?
Yeah, we've talked about this. It's barely slimmer.
Yeah, okay.
It's a slimmer of like, yeah,
any
cool.
PS5
Yeah, like
I've seen that I look at and I go, oh, that's slim.
it'd probably be like $900, $950 at max. It won't be over $1,000. I mean,
I reckon they go all out and it's $1,100.
I was going to guess 1100 too. Get fucked, Steve.
I reckon they should go $40K. That'd be funny. And they have like a Space Marine 2 model.
The PSVR 2 is $880 or $960 if you get it with the Horizon game. I think the PS5 Pro will go over that.
Talk about something with no fucking games. Holy shit. Don't you need a PlayStation 5 to play the fucking PSVR
Yes.
2? Man. Why'd they do that? There's like 2 games on that thing, and one of them's Horizon, and they force
know
you at
it's a
gunpoint
niche
to play
market.
that.
They just want to try and enter that market. And
You got to enter the market with games. You can't just like make a phone and be like, yeah, I'm not going to release any apps for it, but please buy my phone.
No, Steve. We've talked about this before too. It's the same reason why at the end of, I think, last year, they looked at how, isn't it crazy that there aren't too many more people buying PlayStation Plus? I guess all the people that have PlayStation Plus, all the people that are going to get PlayStation Plus have PlayStation Plus. I guess we just jack the prices up by 30%.
Unfortunate, but yes.
We've got a willing participant. Well, that's what Microsoft. No, actually, Microsoft's doing that tiered system to get more people in, or to get people that have dropped out.
And that's what Sony's doing now as well.
They're copying us. I knew we were right.
Thanks for beta testing a pricing platform.
Don't like being called that. Anyway, is that it? Are we done for news?
Yeah,
We've been going for like 4 years, fellas.
We have.
If we wrap up quickly,
good
we're
chats.
sub 3 hours. So, Patrick, speedrun the outro.
Okay. Shit. You caught me on the back foot. Hold on. Getting my splits up on screen. And go. Well, I guess that's the end for the news. This has been episode 119. If you liked what you listened to, get in touch. We're on Twitter at X, formerly Twitter at Fast Travel Lounge, minus the L that Elon keeps taking. Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge. Blue Sky, Fast Travel Lounge. Bluesky.social. Good old mailbag, fasttravellounge@gmail.com. That's all the socials. Star reviews, comments, liking, all the usual good stuff really helps. This has been episode 119. I've been Pat, I've been joined by Saif and Steve. Say bye.
Bye.
Space Marine 2 next week. Super excited. Anyway, that brings us to the end of Fast Travel Lounge episode 119. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, Pokemon.